Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the fourth One of These Days podcast. As always, I'm joined by Jack.
What's going on, everybody?
Signature awkward intro. Gotta love it.
Yep, yeah,
Um,
love the pause in between.
yeah, it's
Uh,
just you gotta love it. Fan favorite.
yep,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, I think we're just gonna jump straight in today. I've I'm introducing a new segment. It's gonna be in the news. So original. No, never done before, honestly.
I don't think
So
anyone's done a news podcast before,
no,
so
I know.
that's
Like we're
yeah,
groundbreaking stuff. Um,
absolutely.
Right, so the first thing in my notes that I've got written down is we've started an Instagram. Wow, you should definitely go follow it
Wow.
at One of These Days podcast because one of the co-hosts, not naming names, definitely didn't follow it until 2 minutes before this started. So
Hey, it's better than no minutes before this started,
that is true.
so I'd say that's
He
probably
does
a
follow it
win.
now. Um,
I do.
yeah. So okay, that's out the way. Good-o. Go follow that if you already haven't. Thank you. Um, Next, Rick Astley, Mr. Rick Roll himself, has sung Charming Man with Blossoms and it's breaking Twitter. What do you think of that?
Wow, I
Wow.
can't believe he did that. I haven't
S-
listened to it, but
right,
that's
yeah.
that's incredible. I
It's
might have to listen to it
pretty
after this
good.
podcast.
Everybody's yeah, they're raving about it, mate.
Might have to listen to it after this
Since you're
podcast.
such an anti-Smiths um avid anti-Smiths poster or commenter at least,
Hmm?
you should be chuffed with that. Um,
Ah, no,
right,
well, Rick
yeah,
Rick Astley could save it.
he could. Anyway, on to the big news this week. Rolling Stone have released their revised version of the top 500 songs, and it's
Songs.
songs. And it's
Huh.
pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it?
It could be
Why?
worse, but it's not the top 10 or like the top anything. It's what they've left
Is that the
out
same?
is the issue. No, it's not. It's quite different.
But is the
Uh,
top 10 the same?
no,
Oh, really?
there are a couple songs that have stuck around but moved places. I don't think any song
What's
is in the same position.
what's the earliest that what was first? It was like a Rolling Stone, wasn't it?
Yeah, like a Rolling Stone, it's now Respect by Aretha Franklin. So,
Really? They really simp for Aretha Franklin, I feel. Like
yeah. Well,
yeah, I
it
don't
is
know.
kind of revolutionary to be fair. So,
I suppose I don't know what my favorite the best song of all time. Favorite song is not the best song of all time, which is Over the Hills and Far Away. But yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah. Well, right. So, I've got some notes here about the list. I gazed through it. So if I missed anything, I apologize. I did look at everything, but I might have zoned out and missed something.
Mhm.
So, I'm going to start with the positioning of certain songs. Wish You Were Here. Where do you think that ranked on the top 500?
I'm gonna say maybe around 200, maybe like 210.
It was 302nd, which I thought was outrageous.
Uh,
I
eh,
personally, it's a top five for me. But
Not my favorite from them, to be honest. I'd
jeez,
say there's a fair few Pink Floyd songs that deserve to be ahead of it. Is it the highest ranked Pink Floyd? No, right?
no, it's not. This leads me to my next point. Comfortably Numb, the only other Pink Floyd song on the list.
Really? Yeah,
So
500.
there's,
Wow.
out of 500, there's only two Floyd songs. Where do you think Comfortably Numb ranked?
I'll say it ranked 150.
Well, you've been generous there. It ranked 179. Personally,
Wow, generous. Wow.
yeah, generous. Well, personally, I
I
think
think I know why.
I would have put Wish You Were Here far higher than Comfortably Numb. If you've seen my latest TikTok, that I
Hmm,
rather screwed because,
I would have to disagree.
geez, controversial.
Not that you screwed it, you did, but you know.
I did. I put Dark Side of the Moon, like a photo Dark Side of the Moon over the Comfortably Numb. So that was the first cook. So
Yeah, I'd have to agree that Comfortably Numb is higher, but I think I know the reason why there's like not many Pink Floyd songs. It's because their songs are all part of concept albums. Like they feel kind of out of place if they're not in the concept albums. Like there's a lot of Pink Floyd albums in the top 500 albums, so that pretty much explains it there.
Rolling Stone are just avid haters of Pink Floyd singles. You know, just
Ah, yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Oh,
Anyway,
fair enough.
okay, Wonderwall. I'm surprised it was on the list, mainly because
Nah,
they just
influence.
don't recognize Oasis in any way, shape, or form. Where do you think Wonderwall ranked?
40 odd British people are fuming. Maybe like, I don't know, 50.
50. Okay, well, I was surprised where it was. It was 95th, but I'll take
Wow.
it because they've cracked the top 100.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
don't know if they cracked the top 100 last time, but I'm chuffed.
Tony Zeppelin.
And then uh, I'm not going to get you to guess this next one, but it's a significant movement on the list. It's Hey
Yeah.
Jude. Last time it ranked
Oh,
8th on the all time. Um,
higher?
it was 8th, and now it's dropped to 89th.
Fuck me. Okay.
I don't.
That's rough, man.
In my
The
opinion, I
Beatles
wouldn't
had a
have.
little bit of a resurgence since last
Yeah,
time.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
have particularly put Hey Jude at 8th in the first place. I don't think it's their best song. Um,
Yeah, I wouldn't put it at eighth, but I wouldn't put it that
I wouldn't put
it's
it
that high.
89th, but I wouldn't put it 8th either. So I think it's probably
I feel
floating
like
somewhere around the 50 mark for me, 45, 50.
I feel like it, yeah, probably deserves about 50. I'd say there might be a few better Beatles songs. I can't really think of any, but yeah, there probably is.
Off the top of my
Yeah,
head, sorry, you go.
I suppose influence, I guess, kind of helps with the eighth. Obvious. I think Hey Jude could be the most influential Beatles song. I can't think of any more. Maybe like Yesterday.
Mm,
'Cause I think influence plays a big part in those sort of lists. But I
yeah.
haven't seen the list, obviously.
Well, I mean, feel like for Aretha Franklin, rather, that would probably influence would be a big part uh, of that. As good of a song as
Yeah.
it is, I feel like influence definitely played a part in that. And Bob
Aretha
Dylan,
Franklin
a
was
lot of
their
his.
number one singer, right?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the lists, but I'd
Yeah.
imagine she was probably up there.
I think she
Um,
was one. I can't remember.
now, okay, that's all the notes for ranking positions I've put.
What
But
about Led Zeppelin?
Led Zeppelin, I off the top of my head there was only two that
I imagine Stairway
it was
and
Stairway
A Lot of
around the
Love.
40 mark, and it was Kashmir
Yeah.
somewhere 100 plus.
Cashmere.
And I was
I'd
kind
say
of,
Kashmir probably deserves to be around 50.
yeah, so do I. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I was surprised a couple of other Zeppelin songs went in there, but
Mm.
yeah. Now I've gone for notable snubs from the list.
Ooh, okay.
So now I've got about a list of 8 here, and you got to tell me whether you agree or disagree with them. So
Uh,
first snub I've gone for is "Time" by Pink Floyd. Agree or disagree?
maybe in the 400s, I guess.
Jeez. I
But
agree because
still, it still is a snub.
I don't think it's as iconic as "Wish You Were Here" or "Comfortably Numb," but
Yeah.
I still feel like it deserved to be in the top 500.
I feel like it is probably one of the Pink Floyd songs that works by itself. Um, yeah. I have to think that is a bit of a snub, maybe.
Now the next two are probably going to be a bit biased, I'd say,
Hmm.
but I've gone for "Don't Look Back in Anger" by Oasis.
Uh, yeah, I think that probably also deserves to be in around the 400s.
I wouldn't expect it to
Maybe
be
even
any higher than
300s.
400, but if it
Yeah.
was to be there, I feel like it'd be 500 to 450 because
Yeah.
realistically speaking, I don't think they're going to put it any higher than that. But I was disappointed
In
not to see it
Cal's
there.
listing.
I was in my listing. It's again top 10, but what would I know?
Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
3, I've gone for "Live Forever," but I don't think it has the same credentials as "Don't Look Back in Anger." But
Yeah, I'd say probably does not deserve to be on there
to an
if it
Oasis
had
fan,
to
it's
be
like the holy
500.
grail. It's like it's the song. So I don't know. That's
Yeah.
probably just the
Not
Oasis
as
influence.
not as popular. I feel like popularity obviously plays a big part. So I feel like Don't Look Back in Anger probably takes the cake there.
Yeah. "Don't Look Back in Anger," like Wonderwall, both off Morning Glory, they're most popular. So I feel like just the album that "Live Forever" was on kind of didn't really help its case. So
Hmm.
number 4 for the snubs, I've gone for "A Whole Lot of Love" by Led Zeppelin. So you mentioned that before. Thought it should have
Yeah.
been on there. I thought it should have been on there. Don't
Yeah,
know
I
where
feel like
particularly
that's
to
one
put
of
it.
their most influential.
Yeah,
Um.
I feel like it's one of their better ones as well in terms of
Yep.
well, when we talk about popularity and influence, I feel like that's the perfect like middle ground of the two.
Yeah, I think it should probably be in the 200s, maybe. I think there should
I'm
be a
feeling
fair
about
few Led
200.
Zeppelins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Um.
unpopular pick here. I've gone for Little Talks by of Monsters and Men. I think it's a underrated song, underrated band in general, really. But
hmm.
when you look at the whole scheme of things on the list, it seems like one of the songs that would be there, but it just wasn't. So
So you'd have to have like a few monthly listeners. All-time listens on Spotify.
yeah, it's definitely up. It's
How many would it have?
hundreds of millions.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
I don't know particularly, but I feel like the influence was definitely there. This was one of the biggest songs of 2011, 12, whenever this was released.
Yeah, I have
But
to say at least 400s. If it was anywhere.
like definitely low, not like 100 numbers, but like
Yeah.
definitely four, 500 to 300, I reckon. Um, yep. I've got two more and a band. So I've
Yep.
gone for Rocket Man by Elton John. I feel like that was a pretty big snub.
Not on there. Wow.
Not on
Okay.
there.
What Elton
Well,
John songs
not
do
that
they have on there?
I didn't see any.
Wow.
So I don't know if there wasn't any or if I was just blind. They might have had Rocket Man on there. I might have missed it.
Mm,
But if it's
yeah.
not on there, that's pretty outrageous, I reckon. Elton John,
Yeah,
one of
definitely.
the most iconic performers of all time. I feel like Rocket Man's probably his most iconic song. Would you say that or
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah?
Yeah. Wow.
I thought Rolling Stone would have been onto that, but apparently not.
Yeah. Well, it's tough. It's tough. There's so many songs, but
Yeah.
it's hard to pick only 500, I guess. I don't know. I'd probably put it in
The,
top 200, maybe.
the thing I don't get
Maybe
is
even 100.
how they put like no disrespect to these artists, but like Tyler Creator and Kanye and all these
Mm,
modern rappers like in like the hundreds and 150s, and then they
I think
miss
that's
Elton
fair.
John. Like if you're
Yeah.
catching my drift, because I feel like on the grand scheme of
Mm,
things, I don't think Tyler Creator's gonna have the same influence as Elton John, and I feel like
yeah, I suppose.
like I don't know, like only time will tell, really. But I feel like Rocket Man's definitely gonna have more influence than Earthquake, if you know what I mean. So
Yes, we'll see. We'll just have
we'll
to
see.
wait and see, won't we?
Have to wait and see. Second last song, last song. I've gone for the less I know, the better. Didn't really know whether to include this one, but I feel like it had the case to be on there, like Lionel
Uh,
Richie. But
I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't
I
know.
probably wouldn't say it's a snub, but maybe it would. Maybe at
I
least
don't think
in
it's
the
a snub, but I
400s.
maybe not a snub, but I definitely feel like it could have been on there. Like I
It
wouldn't
could
be
have been. I
if
do
I
like the
looked at it
song.
and I saw it there, I wouldn't be surprised that it was on there. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. I suppose I don't know what it really takes into account. Like, I suppose if you add like I don't know, you'd think Rolling Stone wouldn't be too keen on like sort of rap songs, but if you
Well,
put
I've
every single genre and evened it out, I feel like it probably shouldn't be on there.
yeah. Well, okay. It depends who you ask again. I feel
Mm.
like Rolling Stone definitely have their certain pick
Mm.
of who they include on the list and who they don't. But anyway, and I've gone for a band here because I didn't see any of their songs. Doesn't mean they weren't there, but I didn't see them, and I feel like I would have noticed them if they were there. I've gone for the Arctic Monkeys because after releasing an album like AM and even the first one, which I don't think was as influential, or even
Yep.
my favorite Worst Nightmare, I feel like they would have had at least one song that could have cracked the top 500. Do I want to know?
Yep.
505. Any of them really. I feel like the influence is there. Definitely the popularity as well. So
Yep. That's fair enough.
could be something
Um.
against British people. We don't know. Is
Yeah.
Rolling
Maybe.
Stone British?
Well.
No, they seem American. They definitely seem American.
Eh. I think they are. But any more in your new segment? The new segment?
No, that's all I've got there. Have you got anything to add, or is
Well, for my news, it's not music related, but this might be a bit of a tribute. But my favorite comedian ever actually passed away, Norm Macdonald of cancer. He was one of my favorite. He was my favorite comedian, and yeah, it's just sad. So
yeah?
rest in peace, Norm.
R.I.P.
My
Norm.
news. Yep.
From us over at the One of These Days podcast. It's Sad day.
Yes.
Well, sad day. It happened a couple of days ago, I think. But
Yesterday. I only found
yesterday.
out yesterday, a few hours after. I was shocked. I didn't even know.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
yeah.
sad.
Sad news. Right. Moving on. That's bad. I'm sorry. Already.
Moving on. Who cares?
Ah, jeez. I've been absolutely walloped here. Okay. So, as always, every week. Well, not even every week. It was a couple of days ago, as of recording this. We give each other an album of our pick. I got Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin, and I gave Jack The Balcony by Catfish and the Bottlemen, and we've got the time between podcasts to listen and rate the songs and the overall album. So that's what we've done. Jack, do you want to go first?
I suppose I'll go first. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
go.
he's
I'll
come
go
unprepared,
first.
so I'm testing him here.
I was only writing my notes about this album before we started recording, by the way. But yeah, they do know their sound. Is this what album is this in their discography? What
This
number?
is the first album.
Yeah, so they do know their sound. I do like that. But it is a little bit repetitive. I don't necessarily enjoy their sound. I feel like if you do it too much, it gets a little bit boring. And you did say that
Yep.
last week. I don't think
Nostradamus
it's a
prediction.
particularly special album.
Jeez.
I like the production on the bass. I think it's good when you can hear the bass pretty clearly, and you can on this album. And I'm a bit of a stickler for that, so nitpicky maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like the bass, hearing the bass can contribute a lot to a song,
Yeah.
let alone an album. So it was nice to hear. I've always really recognised it, but it's a good thing to have in a lot of their songs.
Well, I feel the album's at its best when they sort of use the guitar, like actually,
When they play
you
the
know,
guitar,
they do
wow.
sort of solos. No, when there's like solos and a bit of lead, because usually it's just like power chords and chords and shit. But when they actually sort of, you know, have these guitar parts, like lead guitar, I do like it. I think that's going to say its strength. Particularly Tyrants, that's very nice. That's not my favorite song. You did predict this before
Oh, come on.
the podcast started. It is Cocoon, which is my
Yes.
favorite song. And my worst song
Oh,
is Pacifier.
Oh, jeez, rough.
I just don't think it's anything special.
I've been pretty critical of that song in the past, but over the last couple of days, especially, I've definitely come through on it. Cocoon, I thought I was worried. Like my TikTok had kind of ruined it for you, but no,
It's okay.
You've
It's got a bit of nostalgia from FIFA 15 as well, though,
Yeah.
so that might play a part. But it is a good song.
Was Pacifier not in FIFA 15?
I don't think so.
I think
But
there might have been
Fallout,
two.
Fallout sounds familiar as well, but it's not. It's a weird placing in the album and Fallout. They're both very similar songs, like in terms of like sort of the verses. Very similar.
Fallout's another TFCal classic.
Is it? Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's where I've heard it from.
Probably have.
But Fallout's kind of it's like a Wish version of Cocoon. It's sort of like shouldn't
Jeez.
probably come after Cocoon because
I think
it's
Fallout's
just like
probably
too
my favorite
similar.
song on the album.
I feel like either way, Cocoon or Fallout could definitely be interchangeable.
Yeah. Have you gone for a ranking of every song, or can I quiz you on one?
No, I have ranked every song.
Okay. Do you wanna go through the list and tell us?
I won't go through the list. Actually, I will. I can.
Okay,
I haven't
do
done
it.
this before.
I'm gonna do it.
Gave-
So you do it.
I gave Homesick a 5 out of 10.
Oh, jeez, that's crushing. That's
I don't
probably
think it's
that's my
particularly
favorite
good.
song at the moment.
Really? See,
Not
sorry.
so much the verses, but the chorus. Oh, jeez, it's just built different.
Kathleen a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I overplayed the song. Not a
Really?
fan. I'm not a fan, but not huge on it at the moment.
I think this is one where the production on the bass is actually good.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think it's just like the
Cocoon.
lyrics. Yeah, sorry. Cocoon.
Cocoon, I've
yeah.
given an 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, jeez, we're disappointed. Okay.
Really? Okay,
Well,
I don't know.
no,
I'm
we're
not very good at
disappoint-
rating.
Your top song's at 8.5. This is oh no. Oh dear.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 9
oh
out of 10.
jeez, yes. Good stuff.
I'm putting it
good
up to
stuff.
9.
He's a
You-
half glass full kind of guy.
You peer pressured me to make it a 9, and I've done it.
Yeah,
So,
you're welcome, Van McCann.
Fallout, I've given 7.5 out of 10. Not quite as good as Cocoon, despite
Yeah.
the similarities.
Yeah.
Pacifier, which is my worst, is also a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
It's just mediocre.
Yeah. I'll firm that.
Hourglass, a 7 out of 10.
I'm not a huge
think it's a
fan.
nice
I'm not
change
huge
of
on
pace.
Hourglass. Yeah, I don't know.
Alright, I'm a bit of a sucker for a nice acoustic song. So, Business, I've given a 6 out of 10.
Yep.
Which you predicted before this podcast that I wouldn't like it, but it's okay.
It's one of the weaker songs, I reckon, on the album. Not, I think I like every song on the album, but I feel like it's one of the weaker ones.
26, I've given a 5 out of 10.
Ooh, pain.
Wow, okay. I think the intro is a bit crappy.
Jeez.
Rango, I've given a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Which,
Coon, Fallout, and Rango are probably my top three, so I'll stick that. That's decent form from you.
yep, you'll accept that. Sidewinder is 7.5 out of 10.
All right.
I like the guitar parts in this one.
Yep.
That's the album's strength. When it actually does it. And Tyrants, I've given an 8 out of 10. I like Tyrants a fair
Yes.
bit.
Nice. Good stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And overview of the album, I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10.
Jeez, rough.
I think that's fair given
It's
my
fair,
ratings of the songs.
But I'm going to cry myself to sleep because it's my second favorite album of all time. So,
I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry.
jeez. You gotta like the taste. You gotta feel the taste to, oh, not the taste, the sound to really enjoy it. I think. But
Not
anyway.
a huge fan.
So I was given Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin. Where would you say this ranks on your all-time album list? So like higher or lower?
Well, actually, in my all-time Led Zeppelin list, I'd probably only rank it about. It's a tough one. I've never actually really ranked Led Zeppelin albums. I'd probably rank it about fourth, maybe.
Jeez, there you go.
I used to not really like it, but I do actually like it quite a bit now.
All right. Okay. So I've gone down. I've put notes next to every song and a rating. So I'm just gonna go down song by song. So, first song was "The Song Remains the Same."
Yep.
What I've put for the notes is I didn't realize it was Robert Plant, singing until halfway through. So
Really?
yeah, I thought it was. I thought they had they hired a woman. That sounded bad.
They've only done that
Thought they
once.
hired a girl to sing on the song, but apparently
Yeah,
not.
they've only done it once with the Battle of Evermore. Fun fact.
There you go.
Yeah,
Um,
only ever not had Robert Plant. Well, he did actually sing in it, but
yeah.
every other song's only Robert Plant.
Nonetheless, I am a fan. I've given it an 8 out of 10. So
That's a good start. We like that.
So actually,
Bit of a
okay, going back to the start, from every week somebody said this. It's my week. I'm gonna look like a simp compared to you. So there you go.
Okay.
The Rain
That's good.
song, I said musically speaking, it was a very good song, a very strong song.
I have to agree.
Could definitely see a Stairway influence from it though. Well, not though.
Yeah.
I could see a Stairway influence.
And if you're gonna be influenced from a song, you'd probably not a bad pick.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the most iconic songs of all time. I mean, not a bad thing to be influenced by. For the Rain song, I've gone 7 out of 10.
Okay, that's fair. I think it's probably not quite the weakest on the album, but it's probably not one of the strongest.
Not the weakest. Not the weakest. Now, here's the one you've been waiting for: "Over the Hills and Far Away."
You've already told me your opinion on this one a fair few times. I'm expecting disappointment here.
Okay. I've put down. I feel like it's lacking something. I don't know what though, but still solid. And I've gone 6 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, that is disappointing.
And then following it up was The Crunge. And
Probably the worst song on the album.
I've put 2 words. What do you want me? What do you think I've gone for?
Oh, well, I'm assuming you think it's shit because it is the worst song on the album.
What 2 words? Pick 2.
Jeez, I don't know.
2 words. Just pick them to
I
describe.
don't know, not good.
I've gone pretty funky.
Oh, okay. You like it?
Yeah, I'm a half glass full.
Almost
I
ruined the album for
could
me.
have gone pretty bad, but could have gone pretty good. So I've gone pretty funky because I thought it was funky.
Okay, fair enough. I think it has a little bit of funk, but
I've gone 7 out of 10. So
okay.
not
I'd
sitting
probably
well
rank
with
it
you.
about 5.
Jeez, rough. Then we've got Dancing Days. I've put solid. Best way to describe it: nothing revolutionary, but nothing was lacking.
Yeah, it's definitely not the strongest on the album. One of the weaker ones.
I've stuck to my general consensus and gone for a 7 out of 10 here.
Fair.
Then I've gone for not that I've gone for. Then the next song is Jamaica.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's. I
saying
think it's
Jamaica. I'm saying
Yeah, I think it's Jamaica.
Jamaica. Yeah, I just right. Okay. Then I've kept it short and simple here. I've gone a little bit kooky, but I was a fan. And I've gone
Yeah,
for
I think
8 out of
it's. I
10.
think it's good. Wow, 8. Wow. Okay.
I didn't mind it. It was a bit strange, but I did it.
Yep. Fair
Then
enough.
we've got No Quarter. What do you think I'm
Hmm.
going to say about this one?
I think you're gonna like it, or are you not gonna like it?
Ooh,
Ooh,
yeah,
a
big question.
pause.
Amazing.
It's been skilling me.
Sounds
Oh
of If
yes, get
Metal
in,
and
geezer.
Dark Side of the Moon was one song, and they made
Get
Robert
in.
Plant sing instead of David Gilmour. Love the psychedelic sound.
Get in. It's like 7 minutes, isn't it? So
It is. And I've gone for
yeah.
10 out of 10 on this one. And
Wow.
not only have I gone 10 out of 10, it's been added to the Chasing the Sun playlist.
Oh, that is
That
huge.
is
I'm
huge.
very proud.
Groundbreaking. Ground
Yeah.
That is an amazing song. I'm lost for words.
This is a
I
big deal.
couldn't believe it. Um
Oh,
okay. Swiftly moving on, so I don't oversell it.
yeah.
I've gone for last song on the album is The Ocean. Just a good
Yeah.
rock and roll song. Really felt the Zeppelin sound here more than anywhere else on this album, and I've gone
Yeah, I
for
feel this is one of the strong ones. The Ocean, No Quarter, and Over the Hills and Far Away are the three strongest in my opinion. Uh,
8 out of 10 on The Ocean.
Fair enough. I think The Ocean's one of my favourite Led
So
Zepp songs, but I'm happy with No Quarter.
yeah,
Big.
yeah. But unfortunately enough for you, Over the Hills and Far Away, your favorite song of all time, is my weakest link. So
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's
yeah,
devastating.
devastating. But you did get a 10 out of 10 from
Yeah, I'll take
a
that.
song.
That
So
makes up for it.
my overall summary of the album I put was quite a fan of this album. I don't know what the general consensus of this album is, but my favorite or second favorite next to Physical Graffiti. No Quarter
There you
is a
go.
masterpiece, and it is dethroned Kashmir as my favorite Zeppelin song.
Wow, that is
That is
big.
big. Overall, 8 out of 10.
Fair enough. Yeah, the general consensus is that it's a decent album. It's just that it's not one of Led Zeppelin's best. I feel like it. I feel like it's very good, but I'd also have to agree that
Okay,
it isn't
so
one of their best.
say we were doing the Led Zeppelin discography rather ranking.
Maybe next episode.
Say I'm a maybe not.
Hint,
Say
hint.
I'm a mega Led Zeppelin fan, and
Yeah,
you're also a mega Led Zeppelin fan, which I don't think you have to change
yeah.
too much.
That's. I don't have to imagine.
Yeah.
Really.
um, where would the average super fan rank it? Do you reckon? Would it be about what you
About
said? About fourth?
about 4 or 5, I feel. If I
Five.
was, I won't rank them now. But
Okay, yeah.
the general consensus would be that Led Zeppelin 4 is first, and probably Led Zeppelin, or maybe Physical Graffiti. Physical Graffiti is like a bit of a controversial one. People either think it's
You
arse
reckon?
or it's like their best.
I reckon it's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, I like it, but people would probably say 4, and maybe Physical Graffiti, and maybe 3, then maybe 2, then maybe Houses of the Holy.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
yeah,
This is definitely competing for my favorite Zeppelin album with Physical Graffiti. Um,
yeah.
it's I was pleasantly surprised, I must say, very pleasantly surprised. I was
Well, that's
expecting
good.
pretty schmuck music, but I was
Wow.
given a musical masterpiece. So
Well, I guess we'll move on to the next part of this segment. What are you giving me as my next album to
okay,
listen to?
so I'm giving you. It's a bit of an underground pick. Don't You wouldn't have heard
Hmm?
of them, I don't think, but I've gone for Shake Shiver by Art of Sleeping.
Right,
I
okay.
put some notes here as well. Homegrown band out of Brisbane. This is their only
Okay.
album, and it's from 2015. Quite a fan of their sound. Relatively underground band. Between every song, there are only 17 million streams on the album. There you go.
Wow, okay. So
Yeah,
that's the only album as well.
it's their only album. They got a couple of singles outside
Yeah,
this, but um,
yeah.
yeah, only album.
Right, so how did you find out about this band?
Uh, funny story. Well, not funny story, just story. I was I was watching the music channels like in the on the TV on Foxtel.
Wow.
And it was on the alternative like station, and um I just saw it at like 2 a.m. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is a good song. That is going on the playlist. So, and then I
Well,
listened to the album, and now we're here.
oh, that's good.
Rest is history. Okay.
I'm happy to listen to sort of underground ones because
Okay.
that means we'll never have to rank them in the future. So, uh, yeah. So the one
Yes.
I'm giving you is
Ooh.
Who Sell Out.
Sell Out by The Who.
The Who
Jeez.
Sell Out by
The
the
Who
Who.
Sell Out
So
by The Who. Oh,
yeah,
okay, right. Okay, what can I expect for this album?
it's a bit weird.
Bit weird.
Yeah, it's so the only it's on Spotify, but like it's like there's a few extra tracks, so I don't
Okay,
know.
I'm gonna have to go digging.
It's basically a concept album,
Alright.
but it's not really a concept album. It's like the songs aren't really linked together,
Mm.
but the theme of the songs is sort of the same. Like they don't like bleed into each other or anything. So yeah,
Alright, okay. So this is gonna be an interesting listen, I think. Um,
yes.
Overall from The Who, I'm not like not a mega fan, but they've got some respectable songs, I reckon, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was considering giving you Who's Next, but I didn't know if you'd listen to too many songs from there.
It's probably what I've listened the most to, so I'm excited to listen to what's it called again? The Who Sell Out.
Yep, the Who Sell Out.
Okay.
So mine was, what was it?
Shake Shiver.
Shake Shiver. Not
Shake
Flash.
Shiver by the
Shake Shiver.
Artist Seven.
I'll save it. Okay.
Okay, so that's that segment wrapped up nicely.
Yep.
Last week, or not last week, God, I can't just on Wednesday when you heard it, we recorded on Tuesday, and then things kind of went to shit. We said we would be doing the Gorillaz discography for the ranking, the episodely ranking. This was Jack's idea. I had not listened to every Gorillaz album before this, so
Yeah.
it was a bit of a Gorillaz day for me today. But yes, nonetheless, I'm gonna let Jack take the lead because I'm not too experienced in the old Gorillaz. So
Yeah, I'm winging this a bit. I haven't actually written down any notes apart from just the bare list.
you've
So
been highly
we're gonna.
prepared for this podcast, haven't you?
I'd say I wasn't exactly highly. I know you're being sarcastic, but I wouldn't say I wasn't prepared. It's just that I didn't do notes last week actually. So actually, yes, I did. The week before, I didn't do notes.
Did more notes
So
than me last week, probably.
yeah, how many notes did you do last week? It was Oasis, right? So
Actually, well, I didn't do notes, but you were kind of innovative in the old album ranking. You put actual rankings next to them, which kind of made sense. So
yeah.
yeah.
So are we starting? We're starting the
Yep,
ranking now.
okay. So we've got 7 albums. Yes.
Wait, can you list them in order? Or
Um,
if you...
Okay. I'm
Oh, no,
gonna.
okay.
No.
I'll know the order.
Okay,
I'll know the
right,
order.
okay.
I'll get them up in case.
Okay. So 7.
So we'll actually read out all the albums because there's not too many.
Okay. Yep.
So what we're ranking is... we're ranking Gorillaz, Demon Days, Plastic Beach, The Fall, Humans, Now Now, and Song Machine Season 1. What we are ranking.
Okay.
And number 7 on my list is The Fall.
Okay.
Assuming
good.
you have
I've
it at
also
The
put
Fall as well. Yeah, it's not. I think it's a good album, but it's not. There's not a lot of bangers. There are a few bangers, but unfortunately, most of them are pretty mediocre. And I don't blame it because it is literally just an album made on an iPad.
I mean, pretty
yeah.
impressive they actually made it on an iPad. To be fair, because
Yeah, on tour as well.
old people in bloody iPads, I tell you.
Oh, he was only about 40.
Yeah,
that's pretty old.
40 is like ancient for an iPad user.
I suppose. The average iPad user is about like 7, so fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I've put a highlight track. I put Revolving Doors. I thought that was
Yeah,
alright.
I'd have to say that is probably a standout. My favourite song off the album is Bobby from Womack.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Don't remember it off the top of my head.
Sorry, not
Okay.
Bobby from Bobby. Sorry, it's Bobby from Phoenix, not Bobby from Womack.
Bobby
The
from
singer is
Womack.
Bobby Womack,
Oh, gee.
or Bobby in Phoenix.
All right.
Alright, the singer is Bobby Womack. Rest in peace. It's yeah, Bobby in Phoenix is my standout. This is a shambles already,
This
but yeah.
is this is yeah. Let's go. Okay, number 6. What have you got?
I've got humans.
Okay.
You have that?
No, I've put the now.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So humans for me, it's decent. I like this album, of course, but there's not much Damon Albarn. It's just a lot of features. It doesn't feel like a Gorillaz album. It is a step down from Plastic Beach,
Jeez.
and yeah, I think it's a bit of a sort of boring album. Just there's no Damon Albarn, so yeah.
I've put the now. No
Yep.
particular reason. I just thought it was nothing special. It's just kind of a Gorillaz album. Nothing too spectacular about it. I put a highlight track and I've gone for
Yeah.
Lake Zurich. So
I'd have to agree on that one. Just looking at the tracks on the album, I would have to agree that Humility and Lake Zurich are probably my two favorites. Oh,
okay.
I haven't.
Oh,
My five is the Now, so there you go.
okay. Right. Okay. So have you got any more words on it? Or
I actually do like this. It's a big step up from Humans. I feel because obviously it has more. It came after Humans, so Humans came out in 2017. Now came out in 2018. This was the first ever album that Gorillaz made that came out when I started actually listening to them. So I do have a bit of a connection to this one. But yeah, it's a step up from Humans. There's more Damon Albarn, which is good. And yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts.
okay. Number 5, I put Song Machine Season 1.
Yep.
Um, again, I like the energy of this album. That's probably what I like the most.
Yeah, there are a
Espe-
lot of
especially from
good
the opening
vibes.
track, Strange Times. I liked that energy. It brought a good vibe.
Yeah,
So
good range of sounds as well. I feel.
yeah,
Yeah,
haven't got too much
I
more to say on that.
probably should wait until it gets to mine. So my number four is their debut album, Gorillaz. Uh,
Jeez.
so feel like this album is good. It's a classic. This is where it starts to get into the real classic sort of albums for me. Um, so it's just sort of it's there. It's like it's important. There are a lot of good songs, but it's just not as good as the others. Like there's a lot of songs on here that I feel are just sort of not doing it for me. Like
Just
New
yep.
Genius, Brother, and Uncheck Gravity. Like they're not particularly good songs.
Mm.
So yeah, there's not too many
On a scale of a
bad songs though.
debut album, how would you rate this? Though?
Solid. It's very solid.
I mean,
I think it is
obviously
a
it's
classic, as I said.
yeah, obviously it's not Damon Albarn. Albarn. I can't say his name. Damon Albarn's. Obviously it's not. Obviously it's not his musical debut. He's done Blur and
Yeah,
a number of other
yeah.
things. But I feel like for the band, it was. I'm not going to say too
The
much.
project, I guess you could
But
say.
as a debut album, it was uh, quite acceptable.
Yes, I would say there are a lot of good songs which definitely pick this album up to a very good status. Tomorrow Comes Today, Clint Eastwood, and Rock the House are all very good. And 192000.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's your number four, or have you already said your number four?
No, my number 4 is Humans. Um,
Okay.
okay. The highlight I've gone for is The Apprentice, and the only reason I feel like Humans is this high is because of The Apprentice. That song carries like you would not believe. It's a TF Cal playlist moment actually. So
Really, The
yeah,
Apprentice.
The Apprentice,
The one with that fella.
Rag and Bone Man.
Rag and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's decent. My favorite song from this album is jeez, that's actually Andromeda. Andromeda.
Mm.
One.
Okay, okay. So I don't think this is borderline in the classics. I feel like the top 3 are classics for me. So
Yep.
but yeah,
Three for me is Song Machine. I think this
jeez.
is a very good album, and it's so good, really. Like, when they first started releasing the singles, like every single they released was a banger, and yeah, even the non-singles on this album are still good. So yeah, solid.
This is
Probably
their
favorite
most
song.
recent release. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, most recent release. I think there's another season 2 coming out in, I don't know, next year.
Still keep
Favorite
poking.
song is I can't think of a favorite song actually. Probably uh SLA. I'd say SLA is my favorite.
All right. Okay, my number three is I've gone for Demon Days. Um,
Ooh, okay.
only reason why is I didn't particularly love the sound of this album. I think it's iconic and it's definitely a classic in terms of Gorillaz albums. Um, obviously, Feel Good Inc. I mean, iconic. And another, still a popular song, but not as well known as Feel Good Inc. But Dare.
It's
Oh,
there.
it's a Dare. Also, yeah,
I knew you were gonna say
I
that.
quite like that song. So,
Yeah.
overall, good album.
Okay, my number two. Wait, is this number three? No, my number two now. We're up to number two.
Ooh,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, my number two is Demon Days. It's just a very classic album. Like, obviously it's got the big ones like, obviously Feel Good Inc., Dirty Harry. What else? Uh, yeah. Uh, my favorite song from this album might be a bit of a weird one, but it is actually Demon Days, the song.
jeez, there you
Uh,
go.
yeah, I don't know. I just love this song. Underrated ones. Probably Fire Coming Out of the Monkey's Head.
Hmm.
Underrated in my opinion.
Yep.
Pro Green World, Kids with Guns. That's probably not underrated, but yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
Worst song on this album is probably White Light. That's probably
yeah.
brings it down a bit, but yeah.
Okay. My number two have gone for Gorillaz. Um, I
Okay.
was a fan of the sound of this album, to be honest. I feel like the opening three songs, with the exception of number two, so one and three, were probably the strongest. So Rehash and Tomorrow Come Today. I like the sound of these a lot. And yeah, I feel like for a debut album, it's done pretty well for itself.
Yep.
I'm not that big of a fan of Clint Eastwood, to be honest. So I mean, it's doing pretty
Oof.
well to be up there without that influence.
Yeah, I
So,
feel like it might be maybe a bit overplayed. Yeah.
jeez, telling it how it is.
No, in your opinion, I think it's pretty
Oh,
good, but
oh,
yeah.
jeez, no, okay, no, I see how it is.
So both of us have only got one left,
Yeah,
and we know what that's gonna be, and it's
yeah,
Plastic Beach.
it is Plastic Beach. That's correct. Um,
Great, great album.
it was a bit of a no-brainer for me. I
Yeah,
feel like Plastic Beach was always going to win. It was going to be number one. It's the one that I've
yeah,
really invested in before. Um,
yeah,
well, before I got told to listen to the discography. Um,
yeah.
you're
Half of
obviously
it.
more of a fan of this album than I am.
Absolutely.
But I'm just going to say my highlights: Rhinestone Eyes, Plastic Beach, the title track, and On Melancholy Hill. So
Yep.
I
I
feel
have
like
to
I feel
say,
like they're three obvious picks, but I feel like they're
yeah,
obvious for a reason.
like there's a lot of good songs in this album. I probably couldn't list all of them, but Rhinestone Eyes is probably my favorite. Plastic Beach as well, as you said. Pirate Jet, um, and Stylo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very solid.
I was
Even
introduced to
some of the
Plastic Beach
weak
by
ones.
Mr. Bray here as well. So there you go.
Yeah. Even some of the weak ones like Cloud of Unknowing, which also has Bobby Womack, is decent. Worst song on this album, I think, by far, is Sweepstakes.
Yeah, I can vouch that.
Very poor song. I don't even know why it's on this album. This could have been like a perfect album if they just didn't have that shit on. But
What do you give it
yeah,
on
probably
Rotten
being
Tomatoes?
harsh on it. The album,
Yeah,
oh,
nine.
9.5 out of 10 at least.
Jeez.
I think
I'm probably only
I
going to
can't
give it
let
an
one
8
song
because I don't
bring
think
it
it's.
down
Yeah,
too much.
yeah. I,
Still
appropriate rating in your
okay, I
opinion
guess.
for as much as you hype it up. But
Yeah, it's probably not okay. It's
no, no.
probably too long and a bit
Jeez.
shit. But
Critical Jack
it's
Brabham.
it doesn't ruin the album at all.
Yeah. Right, so that wraps up that segment nicely. I still haven't thought of what band we're going to do next week, so it'll be a surprise
Yeah, we'll have to
when
discuss
it's revealed.
after this episode.
Um, right, so now the next segment I've gone for, it's a new one, but it's kind of following on from everything else that we've done. I've
Yep.
gone for, I've got a list of 6 questions here,
Okay.
and
Q
they're
and A.
music's biggest what ifs. So I'm
Okay.
gonna I've thought about these because I've had time to, but I'm gonna ask you these.
He's putting me on the spot here.
I'm putting you on the spot because I want to hear how it is. And yeah, so first one I've gone for. Uh, I should warn you. A lot of these about what if artists didn't die. So I'm warning you now.
Okay.
What if Jimi Hendrix and Kurt Cobain were still alive?
Yeah, I knew you would do the Jimi Hendrix one. I'll start on Jimi
We have kind
Hendrix.
of discussed that earlier in the podcast. Oh, I will. Actually,
I
no.
don't know if
I
we
think we're just playing
discussed it.
Fortnite, but we definitely
Yeah,
discussed it before.
yeah, we've discussed it. I don't know. Hopefully, this could either go two ways. He ends up just making way too many albums, and they just end up being all kind of shit, or he really does, experiments with all the new technology and makes genius stuff and keeps making genius stuff. I feel like it would probably go the latter. So, yeah, I feel like it's very unfortunate.
Okay. From my
Kurt,
perspective, okay. No, you can go.
look, we'll both do Jimi Hendrix at the same time.
Okay. Well,
You good?
Jimi Hendrix, I feel like his stuff was. I don't think it was as easily like not mess upable, but I feel like his guitar playing style in itself could have been just invented in 100 different ways. So I feel like he could have kept going for longer. But
Yeah,
I'll take the reins for Kurt here. I feel like if he had have kept releasing music past '94, I feel that Nirvana wouldn't have been as highly regarded as they are now. I
yeah,
feel like they probably would have burnt out their reputation.
yeah.
I
It
feel like they
was.
probably would have overdone it. And
Yeah, that sort of alt rock '90s sort of thing, grunge sort of. I don't know. It sort of just got phased out by new metal, which sucks ass in my opinion. So I don't know. Maybe they would have tried to do a bit more new metal. It's yeah, maybe one more Nirvana album. I feel
I
could
feel like
have
they probably
worked.
would have gone too experimental for their own good, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to also pose this question to you. Who do you think would have had the bigger influence if they had kept going?
Uh,
Okay,
Jimmy.
actually, okay, who do you think has a bigger influence from now? So
Oh.
now that they've both died and how their reputation is at the moment, who do you think's had the
Yep.
bigger influence overall? Kurt Cobain or
Um,
Jimi Hendrix?
I feel like probably Kurt Cobain for songwriting, and lyrics. But Jimmy obviously for guitar playing is the most influential of all time. Is Kurt Cobain the most influential songwriter and lyricist of all time? I
I don't
don't know.
I don't
Probably
think he
not.
is. I think he's definitely highly regarded, and I feel like he's more like recognizable than Jimi Hendrix is. But I feel
Yeah.
like in terms of what they're good at in their own respect, I feel like Jimmy was better at guitar than Kurt was at songwriting. If you know what I mean. So
Yeah, I feel like Jimmy's the most influential, greatest of all time. Well, Kurt, he's up there, but maybe not. Maybe just of the '90s, I guess.
I feel like
I don't know though.
you can definitely name better songwriters, and you can definitely name better well, guitar players in IG in Jimi Hendrix. Kurt was never a good guitar player in terms of like
Yeah, I
like
don't think he's
innovative, but
necessarily.
he was
I don't,
he
I
got the
don't
job done.
necessarily think it matters
That's
though.
that's my point.
Yeah,
So
I suppose he sort of pioneered a whole genre though, Kurt Cobain as well.
yeah,
That gives him a lot of credit. Basically, invented, but he took it from being sort of underground to obviously the biggest genre in the world at that time.
but
So
then I feel like we
yeah,
could ask the question: would new metal have existed if he hadn't have died? That's the question.
yeah,
I'm not too educated
yeah.
in the field of new metal, but
It's like the bad ending
yeah,
with the new metal taking
nightmare
on.
ending.
I don't know. I don't know. So he died 93?
Four.
3?
Started
4.
'94. Yeah.
IF 94. When did it start taking off, I guess, new metal? I'll have
Uh,
a look. I'll search it up. I'll be the research man. So new metal sort of it was early to mid '90s, so I feel like new metal kind of came about a bit earlier.
I'm
Um,
not that
and
like educated in the field of new metal. So for myself and anybody who might not know what new metal is, what are some bands you would describe as new metal, and how would you describe
oh,
new metal?
Limp Bizkit, Corn.
Oh yeah, all those
Jeez,
kind of bands. Yeah,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
what else? The two big ones, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
I knew
even
Limp Bizkit was regarded as new metal, but I
would you
hadn't really
count Kid
explored that.
Rock as new
Um,
metal?
I haven't listened too much to Kid Rock, but he from
Yeah,
it sounds like he'd probably be the same
yeah.
kind of era as Limp Bizkit and those
Would
others.
you say uh Creed maybe?
I've
Or
not really listened to
maybe
any of
not.
these bands that you've started talking about. Anyway, going back to my
Yeah.
original question of who would have the bigger influence if they were still alive and they had have kept creating, I still feel like Kurt probably would have had more of an influence in terms of like just overall influence. Because I feel like Nevermind still would have happened, and then In Utero, obviously not as iconic, nearly as iconic as Nevermind, but it still had influential stuff on there. Um,
Yeah.
and then who knows? We could have had Nevermind 2.0. We could have had like
Yeah.
a more iconic uh, album than Nevermind. We could have had a more iconic song than Smells Like Teen Spirit. We never know.
Yeah. I guess the question is, did grunge die when Kurt Cobain died? I guess
I
grunge
feel like
sort of stopped
I
midway through the '90s.
it definitely did. I feel because I feel like he was the front man of grunge. He was the face of grunge,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
when the front man of grunge is not there, then the genre is not really there as a whole. You can make the debate. There's still other bands,
Yeah.
Alice in Chains, Smashing Pumpkins,
Yeah.
all those kind of bands. But I don't think they really encapsulated what grunge was quite like Kurt Cobain.
Yep.
So yeah,
Is that
never mind.
really all we have to say on Kurt Cobain?
Yeah, well, yeah. For Hendrix, on the other hand, I feel like I don't feel like personally speaking, as good of a guitarist and of a like musician as he was, he did do a
Hmm.
lot of covers, like All Along the Watchtower. But I don't think
Songwriting, yeah.
songwriting. I feel like that was probably his biggest downfall. I don't think he was gonna make like a song as iconic as "Come as You Are" or "Smells Like Teen
Yeah.
Spirit." I feel like
Yeah.
he knew what he was doing in terms of he was gonna get a song and make it better, and he was
Yeah.
gonna make it his own, which he did successfully. All
Hmm.
along the Watchtower, he's made it better than the original, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
but I don't know if he could have really topped what he did to All Along the Watchtower because I feel like that was just so what's the word? It was so different at the time, really. Like in a world where Jimi Hendrix existed, that
Yep.
was about as good as of a cover as you were going to get at the time, at least. So I feel like
Yeah.
who knows? Again, it's a big what if, and that's the whole point of the segment.
Yep.
Who
No
knew?
right
We
answer.
could have. Yeah, that's right. There's no right answer. He could have gone on to bloody make a pop punk album. We don't know, but
I wish he didn't, but yeah.
yeah, definitely wish he didn't. But no, I feel like where their legacies ended was an appropriate time. In terms
Yeah.
of, I feel like their legacies are so straightforward and untarnished in terms of they didn't
Yeah.
really do anything too horrendously like bad because I feel like other artists have definitely done that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, if you look at Hendrix's last album, what was his last album called? I think it was just maybe Alive. Jimi Hendrix. It was sort of without the rest of his the Jimi Hendrix experience. It was uh Band of Gypsies, which isn't great. I think it's live Band of Gypsies, and it's just
I
sort
think
of
you probably would have
doesn't
recovered
really
from
work.
that because I definitely because all artists have their highs and lows. But
Yeah, but so he sort of died before he could actually do anything without the experience, with the rest of the
yeah.
band.
So again, who knows? That's the big what if. In
Yeah.
terms of legacy now, I think I'm gonna have to give the edge to Kurt Cobain just because of his pioneering. You can make the same case for Jimi Hendrix. It doesn't really matter who you talk about; they're all gonna have their own little um, influences. But and again, they're two different musicians. One's a guitar wielding maniac, and the other's a grunge superstar, whatever you want to call them. Um, but yeah, they're all the best in their own right to some degree. Um, so yeah, end of that question. Um, if they were still alive, short answer is I feel like they probably would have tarnished what they have because the vinyl was so short and sharp with their albums, and what happened was tragic. But I feel like any more probably would have hindered the reputation. Jimmy, I feel like
Yeah.
he'd probably hit his peak, but we don't know. Again, it's all up in the sky. So okay,
Yeah.
what do
So
you got to say?
what's is are we doing a few what ifs?
Yeah, I got five more. But that was good. That was a good start.
Yes.
What if the Beatles had reformed before John Lennon was murdered? It's
Geez, I don't know.
I feel like it's in the same boat as the other question. I feel like it probably would have been reputation tarnishing. But again, it is the
Yeah.
Beatles, so I feel like anything they would have done probably would have been loved by and adored by everyone. But
Well, they definitely all still had the songwriting power at that time, I guess. So
yeah,
I don't know. How would they work together is
okay.
the question. Not necessarily the quality of the songwriting. I still think that'll be good. But yeah, how would they end up working together? That's the question.
I don't. Yeah, well, I don't know. Let's set it. Let's set a point in which they uh, would have reunited. So let's go 75. It's right in the middle between when they broke up and when John died. So middle point, they've all started solo careers. I don't know about Ringo. I haven't really looked into this too much, but I feel like George definitely would have demanded more. Um, what's the word? Songwriting or like creative capabilities.
Mm,
I don't know. You're probably more of the expert in the field of this, but I mean, judging from George's solo career, he definitely should have had more creative
yeah,
control over the Beatles.
yeah,
Who knows if he had more creative control? Could have been a bigger band, a better band. So,
yeah,
what are your
definitely.
thoughts on it?
Well, obviously, I like his album. All Things Must Pass. I think it's a great album. So yeah, I think a few of those songs were, or a lot of those songs were originally wrote for the Beatles.
Yeah,
A lot of them are bangers. So yeah, would they have worked with like as a Beatles song? I don't know, but
yeah.
yeah,
They don't really give off Beatles vibes. They're George Harrison's solo stuff, and that's his
yeah,
own right. I don't think it's
yeah,
particularly would have been a good Beatles album unless they had have
yeah,
changed it up completely and gone down that route.
yeah.
In
Well,
terms
either
of
way, they would have existed. They do exist, and that's all that matters. Really, it doesn't really matter which
it, and
artist released it. I guess.
it kind of it's under the same category because I don't really think Imagine would have worked as a Beatles song, and I don't think.
Mm,
What do you think? I don't think it would have
I think
personally.
it could have. I think it definitely could have. We definitely did see a lot of. Because obviously, it's really only John Lennon like playing the piano and everything and
Yeah,
singing, as obviously.
but
I
that
feel like
then it
there were
makes
a
you think
few sort of
what
things
would
at
have
that
been
time.
altered. What would have been altered about Imagine if they had have done it as the Beatles instead of just John Lennon?
I
Like,
don't know, really. I think
would
they wouldn't have altered much, to be honest.
would the song have been changed, like the melody wise? Would Paul have had more like influence on the lyrics? Like, what would have happened? I don't know.
Eh,
But
I don't know. I don't think much would have changed, to be honest. That's just my opinion. But yeah.
yeah. Going back to the original question of would they work together? I don't think they would have personally because just again, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but John and Paul were still kind of had fallen out at this point. I don't know when they repair. Like they did repair towards the end, did they not? like before
A little
he,
bit, yeah,
a little bit.
a
So
little
I
bit.
feel like they like let's just say everything was as is in 1975. So they're still on bad terms, but they're in the Beatles. I feel like, um, yeah, I feel like the tension would have just been too much, and I feel like they probably wouldn't have produced anything near their best. So
Yep.
that's just my thoughts. What do you think? You're probably more the expert in this, but
Yeah, I'd have to think that they might have come out together and created something decent. I don't think it would have been anything groundbreaking, but they could have made something nice. Yeah,
it's only just occurred to me when we say would if they did it as, like Imagine as the Beatles, or if they did All Things Must Pass as the Beatles, they would have
yeah.
been released by the time this would have been happening. So they would have that in their own right. Would John Lennon have had, or like Paul McCartney or George Harrison, would have they had better songs to to write as a collective, or would have they still only had the capacity to write what they had in their solo stuff? Do you reckon?
Ooh, oh, I don't know. I feel like they would, like, especially Paul. Obviously, they would have been able
Yeah.
to have. He would have been able to have a lot of his songs added as Beatles. I feel like at that stage, I don't know how hardcore we're going with this sort of sticking together as Beatles sort of thing.
Okay,
If we were,
let's just say so they've okay. So I'll set a scene. It's
mm,
1975.
yep,
There's been like a £100 million contract, so they got 25 million each to get back
yep.
together to make one final album, and that's for good.
Oh,
So
okay,
there'll be
wow.
no coming back from this. Uh,
Yep,
so 100 mil, make an album together. You got to make it. And there's no backing out of it.
yep.
Don't care how much you hate each other. You just got to make it. So
Good
play
work.
with that
I
situation.
think good work. I reckon. Obviously, Paul would add a lot of his songs. John, a lot of his songs.
I get
John Lennon at that time was a bit weird in 1975.
yeah.
I don't know what albums were being released there. Maybe that wouldn't have worked, but
Personally, I
Paul
think
definitely
it
was
probably
pretty
past
strong.
his prime at that point. So I mean, I don't think his content would have been amazing in comparison. I feel like George probably had the most to offer at that time period, but
George,
George followed
yeah,
by
well,
Paul, followed by John, and Ringo, just doing Ringo things. So um,
yeah, I think around 1975 he was released Rock and Roll, which is actually, I think it's decent. I can't remember much of it, but it is a decent album, I think.
yeah,
It's actually one of his better solos, so yeah, I don't know.
yeah. Over like okay. So in conclusion, I don't think it would have been near as good as um, anything they'd previously released, like Abbey Road or
Yep,
Revolver or Sergeant Pepper. I feel like,
yep.
in terms of reputation, I don't think it could really tarnish it because, I mean, the Beatles have got an unbreakable reputation. It would probably be clowned on a bit because, like, as it would be, but like, I don't think it would be like
Yeah.
anything new. But we got to consider the influences again. The gap between 1970 and 75, there was a lot of stuff happen musically. So I mean, there could have been some new, like a new genre spawned from it. So again, a what if. So
Yeah,
we don't
they
really
were
know.
innovative.
But that's just my thoughts.
Yep. Anything else to add?
Not really. So the next one I've got down, it's a bit of a downgrade from the other two, but might apply to us because I feel like we know there's probably
Hmm.
we would know what would happen more than the other ones.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
and I feel like it would also for this one it would also be the like less circumstantial um, question. But what if Roger Waters and David Gilmour had gotten along?
Oh, okay. Well, we got to take into account sort of genres that were happening at the time. I feel like we would have been sort of shifting away from prog rock around 1970, well, whenever they split up, 1980 something, early
85 was when
80s.
they when was when Roger left. So
Yeah.
we'll say it was
Well,
the real well.
Well, they kind of were still
around
fighting then.
1980 was when they kind of really like lost it because Rick had gone.
Yeah. They started to dislike each other
Yeah, it was the war that kind
pretty
of broke them.
earlier than that. So
So
yeah, but
okay, well if Roger and Gilmore had gone along, we got to think about the earlier parts of Pink Floyd. Would Roger have had the power dynamic, or
earlier. What do you mean earlier?
like earlier, isn't like uh, Wish You're Here, like that
Oh,
period?
they were getting along then, I
Okay,
guess.
okay. We'll think to the. This is where Roger really started to take over, especially animals. That's probably the most important part of
Animals is
this.
when it starts, I feel.
Um, so if Roger didn't have full creative control and it was like an equal band, like everybody could kind
Yep.
of control what happened. Do you think that? Well, I don't know what would happen. I don't think half the songs that would have been produced that have been produced would have happened because I feel like Roger, as much as I love everybody else in Pink Floyd, I feel like Roger really had the genius behind um, what happened. I don't think the war would have been what it was without Roger's iron fist, really. Um,
Yep. Yeah, that probably
David,
wouldn't
like,
have happened.
what
Yeah.
I would fear would happen to Pink Floyd is David would incorporate what became too much of his later or his solo album stuff, as we saw on uh, the Endless River. That's what I'd be scared of. I'd be scared they'd jump the gun on that, and
Yeah.
like really, because again we got to think about the reputation of Pink Floyd. I feel like a lot of it's
Yeah.
based on the 4 album stretch between Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, and
Yep.
without The Wall, and even really Animals, if Roger doesn't have the power dynamic, I feel like that's probably would Floyd be regarded as the greatest band in the world, or not in the world, but one of the greatest bands ever. We don't know because I feel like the 4 album streak contributes a lot to why Pink Floyd is so highly regarded. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah,
Much more. I feel agree.
I mean I feel like it all stems back to Roger's power. So I mean this is a scenario where Roger doesn't have the power. So if he doesn't have the power, then maybe the wall's not what it was. Maybe it doesn't even happen really. Um, it could
Yeah.
happen, but it might not happen to the degree it happened to, if you know what I mean. But then that speaking,
Yep.
Richard Wright would still have his place in Floyd, and David
Yeah. He
Gilmour
would
would
say
be
that's good.
more uh, like communal with the band, or with
Yeah.
Roger at least. So who knows? We could have had. Although I think Dark Side of the Moon was well in the past by the time the wall had been even conceptualized. I feel like we could have had like it could be a Nirvana situation. We could have a whole new genre that Floyd's really pioneered. Although I don't
Yeah.
think they were that kind of
I feel
band.
like it probably wouldn't happen.
I don't feel like they were kind of that kind of band. I don't feel like they were capable of creating a grunge like situation. But I do feel like something without the wall, I feel like something else could have taken its place in a bigger form if Roger hadn't have just like steered the ship into the wall, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I feel like they probably wouldn't have done too much. Like, I don't know. I can't. It's hard to define when they really didn't started to not get along.
I feel like Animals was
We're just
definitely like towards the start. Wish You
yeah.
Were
If we're
Here,
just
Roger was starting to take control more and more, but it still had David's influence. Rather as
yeah.
Animals, it was it was Roger's project more and more. David still obviously had his glory on that,
Yeah.
but then the wall, and it was just all Roger. It was Roger controlled.
Yeah.
It was his. So like I mean, it was it was basically Roger's solo. It would be a Roger Waters solo album with members of Pink Floyd on it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I can't say much more really. You seem very passionate about this. I've let you speak a fair
I'll,
bit. I don't have much to say,
yeah,
to be
I
honest.
haven't got much left on this point, but I'll
Yeah.
I'll put it to them. What I think the end result would have happened if they had got along. I don't think the war would have happened. I feel like the concept still would have been there, but I feel like it would have been played out in a weaker situation.
Different weaker one.
A weaker situation, yeah.
Yeah,
And then I feel like they would have stayed together for maybe until the 1990 something, the 90s. Um,
yeah.
and then
Whereas,
would have released.
why would they break up in the 90s?
Well, I don't know. I just don't feel like they had like another. I just feel like the band would have burnt out by then, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it would have been ended on as bad of terms, but I just feel like they'd rinsed their creative capacity.
Yeah.
So I feel like in the end they probably would have released a couple more albums, probably better than what bloody one of that album's called, the one that had Learning to Fly on it.
Yeah, momentary lapse of reason.
Yeah, that one. I feel like they probably would have released a couple more. Probably would have been better than that because I feel like as a band they can release a lot better stuff than, or with Roger at least. I feel like
Yeah, I don't think Roger would have let it happen.
no.
Momentary lapse of reason.
I feel like it still would have been important to have Roger's writing on other albums. So I feel like that's probably
Yeah,
the reason why a momentary lapse in reason failed as hard as it did. It would have been. I don't know whether David Gilmour would have had as much influence on the later part as he did. Probably not, because in this situation, it never really happened. So, whether we see the Division Bell, I don't know. We might have had glimpses of it, but I don't think we would have had that in particular. So,
yep.
so
So I feel like that's about it. We've probably said all we can about the Pink Floyd. Have you got any more what ifs?
okay, I got three more, and then we can
Yep.
mosey on. Yeah, this is another Pink Floyd orientated one.
Yep.
What if Sid Barrett hadn't have lost his mind?
Well, we wouldn't have
So,
had a lot of things. I feel like Roger sort of came to the helm simply because Sid is gone. So I feel,
well, it was because
yeah, I feel he wouldn't have had a lot of
because
things.
Floyd lost their primary songwriter in Sid when he kind
Yeah,
of
it might not have even been prog
lost
rock.
his
So
it.
yeah, that's a
Yeah,
big one.
like if they had have kept on, we might not have. We probably wouldn't have had, to be honest. Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, The
Yeah,
Wall, Animals,
yeah,
even
you really,
Metal or Adam Heart Mother. We probably would have had more kooky, little
yeah,
spacey albums, which I
sort of really nipping it from the bud when you think Sid Barrett because there's just so much we wouldn't have. It's so hard to theorize, I guess.
like. I don't think any Floyd fan would have wanted to see him go, but I
Yeah,
don't think anybody would not want The Wall or Dark Side of
yeah,
the Moon to
we wouldn't
happen,
want to
if
go
you know
back
what I
in
mean.
time and change anything. I
So
feel,
I feel like the way it's played out was for the best for Floyd, not the best for Sid, obviously, but
yeah,
because yeah, I feel like after that, some of the best albums of all time have come out of it. As
yeah, yeah,
unfortunate as it was to lose Sid and like really just have him go insane at such a young age, and have so much talent just lost from it, I feel like was a loss in itself. But then,
yeah,
but really, look what's come out of it. I'm not saying it's a good thing that he's gone insane, but I mean, we've got Dark Side of the Moon, we've got all of those incredible albums that I don't think he would have been able to provide unless we don't know. Roger could have got a bit nippy for power, as I
yeah. I
imagine he
guess.
probably would have, because he's just that's kind of his
Yeah,
wiring.
well, I guess it posed a different question. Did he become that way because of Sid leaving, or was it just deeply rooted, I guess?
Well, I feel like yeah, I feel like that's kind of his personality trait. I feel like he's always probably had it. In
Yeah,
terms, I feel like it would have happened regardless of if Sid had have
or
um,
he would have at least tried
stayed or
to
gone.
do it.
I feel like he would have still had the ideas and the concept, or maybe not the concept even,
Yeah.
but I feel like he still. We know he wouldn't have had the concept of Wish They Were Here. So that in
Oh, yeah,
itself, that's
obviously.
gone.
That wouldn't exist.
Um, the Wall might have existed, maybe not to the extent again, because it probably still would have had the Barrett sound. David Gilmour might not have ever existed in the Floyd world. So that's a scary thought in itself.
Yeah,
So there
yeah.
goes
David Gilmour wouldn't.
the comfortably numb solo. There goes most of the
Yeah,
Walls guitar work, or all the Walls guitar. There goes Floyd's guitar work in general.
yeah. I guess it is just a lot, so it is hard.
But then again,
You
we
have to
don't
just think
know.
everything.
Could Sid have like progressed with the changing times? We could have seen a better album than any of the ones that we've seen. I doubt it, but
Yeah. Well,
we
I
don't know.
wouldn't change a thing. So that's what I
I
have to
wouldn't
say.
either.
I
I
wouldn't
feel like
change a thing.
everything's happened for a reason, or not a reason, but everything's happened the way it's happened. We can't change it. It's unfolded, but I feel like the way it's turned out, it's not horrible. If you know what I mean.
Well, it all stems back to one thing, and that is drugs.
Don't do drugs,
So,
kids.
Pink Floyd
Like
wouldn't have happened without drugs, so
the only
just
thing I
keep
would have
that in
changed
mind.
is I probably wouldn't have had Sid lose his mind. I would have had him lose interest in Pink Floyd as a project, and then I would have had because I feel
Yeah,
like he had a lot to offer as a musician. I just
yeah.
wish he
Just
hadn't
don't know.
lost his brain, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Because I feel like
fair.
because if he still had like the remake, like sorry, I knocked the mic there. If he still had enough brain power to make a solo career, we don't know what could have happened. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
if he had kept going with that, or if he had the capacity to keep going with that, we probably would have. He probably would have had the most successful solo career out of Floyd, I reckon.
Yep.
Because he could have worked as a solo artist. The others maybe not so much, but he definitely could have.
yeah. Yeah. We are running out of time a little bit. Anything else on the Sid thing?
Um, no, okay, no. I feel like that's pretty good
Yep.
um
Uh,
for Sid. I've
Next, what if?
I'm gonna okay. So we've got left into the show. We've got two what ifs, your interview, and then we'll read some comments. So we've got to try to cram that into 15 minutes. We can go a bit over.
Yep.
It's not really going to matter too much. But
Yeah, yeah, doesn't matter.
this one's more orientated towards you, and then the next one will be orientated towards me.
Alright. Yep.
What if Bon Scott didn't die, and more specifically, what would that mean for Back in Black?
Well, I don't know. There is like a bit of a rumor that's you know, uh, Bon Scott did have a little bit of influence in Back in Black. Apparently,
Oh, yeah.
he wrote a few of the songs, maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's all just a rumor, but
Not
pretty much, I feel the riffs would have all been there because the vocals aren't a big aspect of AC/DC. Like the actual songwriting and the lyrics aren't
I feel like it makes.
particularly a
I
big
feel like
aspect.
the only thing the vocals really do for AC/DC is it makes them iconic. You can if you hear those vocals, you can hear like that's
Yeah,
AC/DC. But
but in terms of the lyrics, I feel it wouldn't have mattered because the riffs are probably the most important thing. Uh, you know,
who was
in terms of
the songwriter for
significance,
AC/DC?
pretty much Angus, Malcolm, and Bon. Yeah, pretty much early on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But then again, that's the thing. Would have Bon Scott been like this is just speaking from a broad music perspective because I don't know too much about AC/DC or
Yeah.
Bon Scott in general. So, would have he been objected to the idea of some of the things on Back in Black? Would have he, like I don't know, how much influence do you reckon he would have had on the actual sound? Would have he wanted something different, or do you reckon he would have been solid with the sound? Because I can definitely hear not hear, well, obviously hear, but I can see a difference musically between Bond's era and Brian Johnson's era, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I definitely think there is a bit of a difference. It's not too big. I feel like it's a bit more raw, the Bonds era, and people say they all sound the same, but the albums, but they definitely is a bit of a change between 1979 and 1980. So I feel it would have been a little bit different, but I don't know if it was because of necessarily Bond's death or whether the young brothers just sort of started to change up their sound at that time anyway, going into the 80s.
Well, okay, here's my big point. Because from my perspective at least, I don't know anything about AC/DC. I don't know the behind the scenes. I don't know
Yep.
any insight into it. It
Yep.
seems more as if Brian Johnson just let the young brothers do what they wanted to do, and Bon had more say in what happened then. So
Yeah,
my question would be:
yeah.
would Back in Black ultimately be just the Youngs' master project as opposed to Bon and them? Because like
Mm, it's
because
interesting.
like as it is, by the sounds of it, it's the Youngs. Like this is their thing. But
Yeah.
if Bon had been on it, we don't know what could have transpired from that. So
Yeah, it did feel that Bon was sort of the leader of the band a bit, maybe by 1979. Then I feel Brian sort of took a step back when he joined, and it was sort of the Youngs that took over.
it didn't. It doesn't.
Um,
From my perspective, at least, it doesn't seem as though Brian has as much authority as Bond did. I'm not saying
yeah,
he was
the
a dictator,
riffs.
but I'm saying
Yeah,
he probably had more direction than what Brian had.
yeah, the riffs. I mean, would stay the same. I feel, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
well, yeah, I don't know if the guitar work would have really changed at all, but
yeah,
just the influence on the actual music, because I
yeah,
mean, Bond's not going to go play guitar for I don't know one of those songs, for,
yeah,
but uh, so I feel like that was always going to be the Youngs like area to influence or like to work on, well not work on, but like their job. That was their part of the album, and it
yeah,
was Bond's to I don't know if he lyrically, but like so again, I don't know if um, how much influence he would have had. You probably have a better knack on it than I do, but
yeah. Well, I've
yeah,
pretty much said all I've had to say.
I don't really have too much
Yeah.
more to say on this. So is
Final,
that
what
all you got?
if?
Okay, last what if for this episode. Could keep this one going. This has done pretty well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What if Oasis quit after Nebworth? So, for some backstory, Nebworth
Yep.
was right in like the golden era of Oasis. It was the peak of their success. It
Is
was,
that
it was,
before or after Beacon now?
it was 1996. So it was right after. It was the year between Morning Glory and the year before Be Here Now. So,
Nice.
they just played to uh, 250,000 people over 2 nights. Um,
Yep.
and they'd um, uh, really hit that. So it was their peak, basically. So they never reached the heights of uh, what might have been. Um,
Yep.
but my point of like my question here would be, would they have been more of a highly regarded band if they had just stopped after Nebworth? Because definitely, maybe in What's the Story, Morning Glory, they're two very like iconic albums. I'd say in British music, at least. They're two respectable albums. They didn't really nothing on there, with the exception of Shaker Maker, maybe, were really weak. So I feel like
Yeah.
if they hadn't have gone and released Be Here Now, which really, in some people's opinions, mine personally and yours, I know, definitely derailed Oasis's reputation a bit. If
There's a
they,
good video on it. On the Shadows Train Records. On Be Here Now. That probably sums it up a bit. How it was sort of the start of the downfall. Not that albums after Be Here Now are bad, but they're not as iconic,
but yeah,
and you're not
my
particularly going
point,
to remember too many songs from them.
my point being, I don't think it was needed. Like Noel
Yeah.
himself admits they should have just let it. They should have just stopped after Nebworth because
Wow.
it was. But then again, that's the point. You don't know if they were going to get bigger if they had just stopped. They could have gone and
Yeah, you'd
released
never know.
four of the greatest albums of all time. Like at the time, Morning Glory could have just been like the tip of the iceberg, and then
Yeah.
could have just gone and released four of the greatest albums
Yeah.
of all time. So that's
I
that's
suppose.
it's all about the unknown for these questions because I feel like for Morning Glory, that was it was quite critically not well, it was people were very critical of the album when it came out. So it may have at the time not really occurred that this was a good place to end off on. Although
Yeah,
although
that's
it
true.
although I mean they played Main Road, which, as an Oasis fan, is probably my favourite performance they've ever done. It was probably better than Nebworth. They sounded better. They played the part better, and I was in their hometown. So for me, and this is all in 1996, so this is the same year. Morning Glory was the end of 95. So
Yeah.
they've done 2 nights of Main Road, and then like 4 months later, they've done 2 nights of Nebworth, sold out Nebworth. So that's 125,000 people per night. So biggest band in the world at this point. And yeah, well, I not that I can speak from experience. Neither can you either. But
Yep.
but you don't know what it's like to be the biggest band in the world until you've actually lived it, really. Because unless you like, we don't know what their mindset was at the time. They probably weren't thinking. They were probably just thinking, "I'm going to write songs for the rest of my life. We're going to be Oasis for the rest of our life."
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So my perspective, I'm happy that they kept going, but it probably would have been a better look for Oasis if they had stopped after.
Yeah, I guess we'd be saying, oh, imagine if Oasis didn't break up. You know, if it did happen, we'd be like, oh,
imagine if they kept
imagine
going.
the music.
Imagine if this and that, because
Yeah,
it's like there's no winning to this question really, but there's no losing either. It's like
as long as the music's there, I feel
as long as the music's
it's not going to matter.
Noel could have
Good to know.
Noel could have had a solo career in the prime of a solo album. In the prime of his career, that could have gone a million different ways. Liam could have done that as well, although I don't think it would have been as successful as it would have been now. Noel, on the other hand, I feel like he could have had a better solo career. Although I'm extremely happy on the way his career's gone, solo career wise. It's again, it's all in the unknown, but I'm very happy that they've released. They kept on going, and they released another 5 albums. But I would have also been happy if they had have released the 2 and then stopped, and then just had Oasis be like this, like Paperboy, or not Paperboy.
What I was saying before, I guess, if you'd be happy now looking back if they did break up then, but if they did break up, it would be like, imagine what Oasis could have done if they didn't break up at that stage. So I feel like, as long as their 2 albums are there, I don't think their reputation really matters, because then at least we know what did happen after they, after that point. So it's good to know at least.
I feel like it would probably. I would have much rather it happen. It's just so like there's more quantity to Oasis. It's been known as a band that didn't just play for a couple of years and then stop.
And they're still your favorite band, so
it's still my favorite.
I guess,
band. And I was born 9 years after Nebworth had happened. So, I mean that's the influence that they have still. So, whether they would have been more talked about if they hadn't have kept going, we don't know. I feel like Noel probably would have had more on the table if he had have stopped. But for Liam's sake, it was probably better that they kept going.
Yep.
So
that's about it.
Everything. Yep. Okay.
Reading TikTok comments. I'm excited for this. This is my favorite segment.
Well, you've jumped the gun on this a bit.
Really?
Yeah. So, first we've got the JB Explores interview.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right. So, I did tell you about this before, but you've obviously forgotten. Or just don't care. So, your presence in this podcast, I'd say, is more JB Explores than it is Jack Bray.
Yes.
So, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions regarding that. So, I've put down the JB Explores interview as the segment name. So,
okay, is this going to be recurring or what?
Could be. Do you want it to be?
Well, I don't know what it is yet.
Well, okay. Well, I'm just gonna wing it. Okay, so my first question in the JB Explores interview is, where did JB Explores stem from? First of all,
I remember back in 2016, I was watching all these Urbex channels, and I was watching them for a couple of years, and it wasn't really until 2018 when I realized, hang on, why don't I explore abandoned buildings in in my own town, like in Australia. I always used to think abandoned buildings were only, from other countries like Europe and like countries in Europe and
Yeah,
the
Australia
US,
just
but I
doesn't
never
have abandoned
realized
buildings. Yeah,
they're not as good in Australia as other countries. But yeah, that's sort of stemmed out.
so
And then I started
so
with the Instagram page,
yep.
which stemmed from some old Instagram page I had. That's I can't remember what exactly it was,
Probably
but
PewDiePie versus T Series. You were big on that. You were
no, that was 20.
okay.
I feel like that was a bit later.
Anyway,
It's
yeah.
yeah, I started it. My first Instagram post was in about November, and then that was okay. And then in about July 2019, so I started my Instagram in 2018, and then July 2019 I started making YouTube videos. Very poor. Don't watch them. Only watch from about 2020 onwards, by the way.
Jeez. Um,
Yeah.
right. Okay. So, I guess that kind of leads into the next question for people who may not know.
Mhm.
What is urbex?
It's exploring abandoned buildings pretty much. And urbexing is basically you just sort of mostly it's filming and taking photos, but some people just explore abandoned buildings without just without anything. They just sort of look through it, just like it's a stroll in the park. So yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. And okay, another question about urbex. I'm still not very educated in the
Mhm.
subject. Um,
Yep.
how did you discover urbex?
Uh,
How did you come across
so
it?
there's a channel called Proper People, or oh no, actually, Bright Sun Films is how I started. They have a series on YouTube still going today called
Wow, the
Abandoned,
longevity.
and then I sort of moved on to the Proper People who make really high quality urbex videos. Uh, and then I moved on to this small channel called Fogarty Avenue, who still make videos today, and they're kind of my biggest influence. They've got about 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, so they're not too big, but yeah, they're one of my main influences. Dan Bell and Proper People and Fogarty Avenue, I'd say,
We
my
should
biggest
preface this:
influences.
Dan Bell, not to be confused with Dan Ball. I
Yeah,
confuse
Dan
that.
Bell is a
Two different people
filmmaker.
apparently, but yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, okay. Last question. This was a nice quick segment. Just a little refresher to get off the music topic.
Yep.
Will you ever get TFKL to explore with you?
I tried to the other week, mate, and you said no, so
Oh, I
I'm
might
a bit.
TFK. Oh, I didn't know I had any connection to him. He's just my icon, honestly. The long and the short is no, you will not. I'm scared shitless of anything old.
Look,
Um,
it's okay, Cal.
might have to take
Okay.
some proper convincing, but I don't know.
Yeah, that might be a bit of a task.
Could be a what if? What if TFK never went exploring? What if we die
He wouldn't be
horrifically?
dead.
What
He
if?
wouldn't be
Yeah,
killed.
yeah. He wouldn't have been flattened by a donkey. So
Donkey, okay. I
yeah,
was thinking
donkey.
more junkie, not donkey, but
Oh
yeah.
jeez. Well, that's really given me a lot of hope to go exploring now, hasn't it?
Well, I think next week I should do a TFCal interview, or next episode, not
Well,
next
yeah,
week. When we
yep,
say
yeah.
week, we say next podcast. I
Next
mean, because we
podcast, so
do
it'll be
bi-weekly.
probably Monday. So, well,
Yes, Monday.
no, next week would be the correct terminology here.
Oh yeah, it is next week technically,
We're
but
gonna have a
last
lot. We're
week,
gonna have a lot
last
of.
podcast was not last week.
Well, we're gonna have a footy segment. We're gonna talk about that because the Brownlow would have been the night prior. I'm either
Yeah,
gonna be
not much
fuming.
footy
I'm gonna be
news.
fuming, or I'm gonna be absolutely joyous. So,
Okay.
depending on my mood in the first 30 seconds of the podcast, you'll know what results happened.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking, Cal? I think we watch the Brownlow together. We
Yep.
get some suits. We get bow ties. We get a blazer. We get
Yeah.
the white shirts, and we wear a suit, a tuxedo sort of thing,
Jeez,
and
yeah.
watch the Brownlow in our
Oh
suits.
wow,
I think that'll be
jeez.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, right.
I don't think we. I don't know if we'd broadcast it, but
No,
yeah,
yeah, it might be a bit of a low point for our careers, but
yeah. I want to watch the Brownlow while wearing a tuxedo. That's
definitely,
my main goal
definitely
in
has.
life.
No, yeah, I feel like
And
we
I
can
can
make that
die
happen.
peacefully. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Anyway, enough of the JB Explorers interview segment. Nobody cares about
AF
that.
Cal interview next week.
TFL, yeah. Stay tuned for that. That'll be very interesting.
We were talking about your streaming career, your YouTube career, and your TikTok career. So,
Oh,
don't
jeez.
you think it's going to be a TikTok account?
Well,
I know a lot of things that maybe our audience doesn't know. So, we
Jesus.
might have to reveal.
Give
All
them
be
give them the
revealed.
full exposure, the hit piece almost.
Expose. So
Expose,
I think we
that's
should
it.
move on to our next segment, and
Uh,
that will be reading Tic Tac comments.
yeah, it's Jack Tungibb's favourite segment. He's let me know multiple times.
Yes,
He's
the
even
best
tried to
segment in the
even tried
world.
to skip his own interview to read my comments. I've
Yeah,
I've
it's
listed a
exciting.
couple of comments here that I thought were interesting. Been a bit of a dry couple of days on the old TikTok account since um,
Mm.
last time we read these. So I've kind of put out some opinions and some little parts that I
Content,
thought
I
you could
guess.
comment on. So
Yeah, well, you've made a few videos.
yeah,
First most recent song, which is factual. Underrated versus overrated. So I think, yeah, that's fair enough. Uh, and then band's least first most popular song again, which is probably you're probably milking that
I'm
a
well.
little bit at the
Okay,
moment.
to be
at
fair,
the moment.
it was my concept, and I'm gonna milk that until it just does nothing ever. Like
Yeah,
until it
well,
gets.
it's got 1,000 views
Ugh,
after 2 hours. That's not
oh,
too bad.
how many likes
Yeah,
has
that's
it
not
got?
terrible. 184. Well, we'll
Oh
start
no.
on the most recent one since we made the podcast, which I believe was best. Oh no, was it best album of every year or was it band's first most recent song? I feel like it was
Uh,
first most recent song. So we'll
well, we
start on
only
that one.
uploaded the podcast yesterday, so I mean, as
No,
of
we uploaded it Tuesday. Tuesday.
oh, I know that is right. Yes.
Yeah.
No,
So
no, we recorded on. Oh wait, no. Yeah, that's right.
I
Sorry, my
recorded
bad.
on a Monday,
No,
released
no.
Tuesday
Yep, that's
morning.
right.
We were a bit slack. Cal's
We're a bit
internet was a bit
slack.
bad
Yeah,
on that night,
yeah.
so
Terrible.
couldn't send me the file. But enough on that. Let's read the comments. And Snazzy Jazzy 17 straight off the bat says, "I'm not excited to be early anymore."
Yeah, no, I was
Jeez, rough.
just extremely
Yeah,
disheartened
it's
by
you're
that.
too big, Cal. You get too many comments
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I know.
Not exciting.
I'm not the humble commenter or humble TikToker that I once was. I'm just a corporate enterprise now. You know,
Yeah,
me
it's
and my
quality over quantity, says Snazzy
uh,
Jazzy.
I hit 5,000 followers today, so that's can I get a clap for that?
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
jeez.
yeah.
Been a
Creator
pretty
code on
mediocre
Fortnite.
prize. I got nearly 1,000 followers off one TikTok, so I mean,
Wait,
so it
yeah.
was a bit of a
Use this bloke's creator code if you still play Fortnite, by the way.
yeah.
Is it what is it?
It's X to the Zens because that used to be my Fortnite name. So there you go.
We might have to link that on
I
something.
I
I
don't know if
don't
it's
think people
I
remember
don't
that.
even know if it's still active. I don't know if they can. It's probably
Has anyone
been
got
dead in the
that as
water
their
for about.
creator code still?
Well,
I'd
they
imagine
better
not.
bloody have. I'm
I
missing
think
out
you
on a
can
lot of
see it.
valuable revenue.
You can. I think you can go on to Epic Games and you
Yeah,
can actually look
well,
at it and
yeah,
see how many people
you
have
can
it,
see
which I
how
imagine
many.
it's none.
Yeah, oh, jeez. Thanks for the confidence.
Well, who's gonna have it
Oh,
buying Fortnite
I'd hope you would, mate.
items? I didn't even know it was X the Zens, mate. So
Jeez,
I've
that is
been
rough.
3 days
Not
because I'm hoping he makes enough money to come back to YouTube. But anyway, onto comments. MSCJ Gray's comment, which you've totally ignored. No likes, no
yeah,
replies. Monkeys. First song was released on the day I was born. I just want to flex that.
I just
So
we're
she's
not gonna
leaking
dox what day.
her birthday.
But
Well, she's probably commenting it, but
yeah.
we won't
Well,
continue on that.
in regards to ghosting the comment, I just don't care anymore. It's irrelevant. Relevant comment. Get better.
Yeah.
Sorry. Apologies.
Oasis released "Don't Stop" demo? Question mark. I don't know of the count.
If you're an avid watcher of the TFKL channel,
Yeah.
you should know I don't include demos. So,
Yeah, I like that comment. Just so there's. Sorry, I've said it again.
geez,
Sorry.
censored moment.
Yeah, sorry, I've said the R word again. Anyway. Yes, no demos allowed. That's the
No
answer. Triple
demos.
Lord
That's
Keenan
that.
says, "I bet that you look good on the dance floor" is still a really good song too. You agree?
No, that's why I put it in overrated.
No, this is in. No, this is in later songs.
Oh, well, geez, I've spoilt the video from my other video.
Oh no!
This is terrible.
Jeez, this is devastating.
No, I don't agree. I
You replied decent a day ago.
it,
So you don't think it's
yeah,
bad.
I'm kind of contradicting myself. I contradict myself a
Mm.
lot.
Oh, and I commented, don't. Sorry, I commented, listen to the podcast, link in bio, hashtag not sponsored.
No
So
likes, so that was crashing.
listen to the podcast, listeners of the podcast.
Maybe if I pinned it,
Uh,
then people would listen. But
yeah, dickhead.
yeah, I'm not using my power correctly, honestly. So pretty disappointing.
So this guy says, Oasis wipes best band Oat biblical. Come on, you know as you were.
Okay, so he's trying to be full indie here. Liam
Yeah.
Gallagher wannabe. Best band of all time, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I'd say so. But realistically, probably not. Well, definitely not. Realistically, that would
Yeah.
probably go to the Beatles. So
Yeah.
depending on who you are, yeah.
Fair enough. This guy says "Free as a Bird" is the Beatles' most recent song, not what you said.
Yeah, I kind of conceded defeat on that one. I
Yeah,
accepted because I looked it up and it was a single. After I'd finished
yeah.
the
It
video,
was
so
after
I
John
was
Lennon
just
died and the three got together, and
well, that's not the
yeah, they
Beatles,
kind
is
of
it?
just
That's
no, they did. It is
that,
released as the
yeah.
Beatles,
Well, that's
so
not the That's Paul
we
McCartney,
you
George
don't make
Harrison,
the
and
rules,
Ringo Starr.
Cal.
I don't make
You
no.
don't make the rules, Cal.
I'm telling it how it is.
Anyway, we're not
I'm
debating this. We're reading comments. So this person who on his political compass he is middle to authoritarian right. Let's keep that in mind. Let It Be
Wait,
was released in 70
uh,
question mark.
yeah. Well, Get Back was on Let It Be.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
One
shush
says
you.
do Metallica, and this is a fuming Cal moment. What do you have to say about that?
I just ignore anything to do with Metallica and Green Day, or Weezer even. That's gonna get you fuming, but
I
no,
don't care.
yeah. Just Metallica fans, Green Day fans just do my head in. Sorry. Um,
Uh,
they just.
and actually,
I'm not
oh,
experienced enough. I don't. I can't. Maybe I could put them in a.
wait, aren't you a likes whore? Why don't you just put it in band's least first most
No,
popular song?
well,
People love it.
I'm a bit of a Likesor, but like I'm not. I wouldn't go to the point where I put Green Day or Metallica in my video. That's
Yeah. Well, next comment, and this one was actually Don't Stop is their most recent release. Is that Oasis?
yes, but that's the demo.
That's
So
the demo. Yeah.
get good.
And this guy's got a different one. Falling Down was the last Oasis single.
Yeah,
14 minutes ago.
it was a single. It wasn't a. It was a single, so it was released before the album.
Yeah. Part two, this guy says. Sorry, you got a bit of love
Yeah,
there
yeah.
from Persian Sandwich.
Thanks, Persian Sandwich.
3,784
Big
followers.
fan.
Big lad. Smurf. Oh no, this one says at Smurf Loki. Both the bit it's from a guy called Beatles Beat something. I can't pronounce it. It's like Beatlesque or something.
Yeah, Beatles. Yeah.
Smurf Loki. Both the Beatles, Oasis, and Nolly's two songs are amazing. You agree?
What was this for?
This was
What
both
video is
the
this on?
Beatles, Oasis, and Nolly's two songs are amazing.
Yeah, but what video is this on?
Same one.
Which
Band's
was?
first most recent
Oh,
song.
yeah. No, I agree.
And one guy says, "Can you do Def Leppard?"
No, because
That's all we need to hear.
Yeah, no, I won't.
Okay, band's most overrated versus underrated song. This is opinionated. There's a few more comments
Yeah,
which I'm enjoying.
I love the comments on opinionated videos. They really brighten my day.
Yeah, I don't
People
know
tell me
why
that
the
I'm.
fuck I put Dark Side of the Moon as the photo for Comfortably Numb.
Well, I do.
I can't believe you've done this.
Well, yeah.
Can't believe you did it, and
It
I'm
didn't even clock at
devastated
the
that you
time. It
let
didn't
us
even
down.
clock. It was just right. Okay, that's the photo that's associated with that. We're using that one. Move on.
You let us down, mate. You
Yeah,
let
no,
us
it
down.
was terrible form. I'll do better in the future.
I really want to see your opinions on most overrated and underrated Nirvana songs. Part two,
Um,
possibly.
Can I answer this on the podcast because
No,
that'll
put it
attract
in part.
listeners?
Actually, you can. Yeah, actually answer it.
Well, the truth of the matter is, I don't know that many Nirvana songs, so underrated's a bit hard. Most
Can I help?
overrated
Can I
is-
tag team in?
Yeah, you can. Yep.
Well, I got to think about
Well,
it.
I'll,
but
I'll answer
I'll
most
know.
overrated. I'll go. Actually, I'm gonna go "Come as You Are" because I feel like Teen Spirit has as overplayed as it is. I feel like it's got the capacity, or not the capacity, it's got the like status to be an overplayed song, if you know what I mean. So I feel like
Yeah.
it's better than "Come as You Are" in my opinion, at least.
Feel like me overrated would be Heart Shaped Box.
All right. Actually, again, I'm not good with Nirvana songs, so I get them all confused.
Yeah.
I
So
confused
underrated for
Poly
me.
and Lithium the other day. That was a low point.
Is so underrated for me is All Apologies. You've probably seen me listening to this on Spotify, Cal.
I've seen a
It
few
is
people
a
listen to this
classic.
on Spotify. I just haven't.
Yeah.
I heard the name. I just haven't really invested.
Underrated
in it,
for me.
Yeah, nice.
There's
nice,
my
nice.
answer. Not that Snazzy Jazzy was asking for my opinion, but
No, well, you got two opinions there.
Hayden
you got
Bullock with
half of them.
25 likes.
Yeah, I kind of got like I can't.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say I
okay.
lost, but
Wonderwall should have been overrated.
okay. Well,
You do agree, yeah.
I no, I don't agree. I severely disagree. Again, the same with Nirvana. I feel like, or it's the same with Teen Spirit. I feel like Wonderwall has the case to be an overplayed song or an overrated song.
I remember watching your ranking Oasis songs, and ranking the songs on What's the Story, Morning Glory,
Yeah.
and Wonderwall was like at ninth or something.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
how's it
No. Yeah.
overrated?
But the fact of the okay. Here's what I
I
mean.
wouldn't say
No.
Lila's very rated. People
Well,
don't rate
okay.
it too much
Until you slander Don't Believe the Truth, you wouldn't understand what Lila stands are like. They're a species. So
until
okay.
I stand it.
Yeah. No, slander. Until you
Okay,
slander it, you won't understand the
I'm
stance.
never gonna slander it. So
Well, I
don't say
have.
until.
So I've understood. I've understood what it's like. Anyway, point being,
Okay,
any okay,
let's go
any
through this.
like the worst song on What's the Story, Morning Glory is better than the best song on Don't Believe the Truth. So therefore,
Okay.
I feel like I rate Wonderwall overall. I put Lila second and Wonderwall ninth. I like Wonderwall more
Yeah.
than I like Lila.
But what's Lila got in terms of like listens on Spotify?
It,
Like
it's
within
it's
50 million.
it's it's probably the highest on the album, I think.
But Wonderwall's actually got 1
Yeah,
billion, so
yeah,
I feel
but
like they even out there.
okay. Well,
Anyway,
it's overplayed, but again, I think it's got the case to be overplayed. Lila's got a
we're
bunch of
nearly at
streams
2
for
hours,
no
by the
apparent
way.
reason. It's useless. It's we can keep going. We're on a good roll here.
Yeah, well, um, yeah. So what are we on? Band's most overrated versus underrated song. You just replied with sheep to Hayden. So well,
That's an inside joke. You wouldn't understand. Um,
I think I do get it. I
that's
agree with Arctic
right.
Monk. Arctic MSCJ Grey apparently just
Yeah,
can't spell Arctic.
yeah.
Arctic.
Yeah.
I
That's
saw the
another
last
inside
one.
joke. Just English moments don't happen.
Uh,
Um, I didn't
I agree
realize
with
until
Arctic Monkeys and Catfish.
yeah. That was a bit rough on Floyd and Oasis. I thought so.
Yeah,
Unfortunate,
harsh.
bit harsh.
Legit put, it's good to be free last in the master plan, yet it's underrated.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's the
This
other.
guy remembers well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was pretty impressed. He's one of.
Yeah, well, that's.
I know who it is. Don't say his name or anything. But I remember who it was that commented that. He's the most neutral TFCal watcher I've ever seen. He's like it's either he's completely against me on one video, but then he's completely with me on another. It's so bizarre. Normally somebody's like completely against me or they're completely with me. He's just the most neutral fan. So shout out to you. Not gonna say your name, but I know you.
Well, I know.
I recognize you. But okay. My explanation of that is when I ranked the master plan, I hadn't listened to all the songs on there. I'd probably listen to the top 10 out of 12. They were one of the ones I hadn't listened to, so I wasn't really. I just put it last because I hadn't listened to it. But then in review, it's probably a top 5 Oasis song for me at the minute. It's yeah, I don't know. Does things.
Yeah, well,
That sounds better.
Wonderwall by far Oasis most overrated, says A. Sinclair.
Well, that's the common conception. Like
Yeah, that
I
opinion is overrated.
yeah, it is. I feel
Yeah,
like
like
I feel like
wavelengths,
I
man.
feel like there's a difference between overplayed and overrated.
I suppose.
Yeah.
People do fucking rate Wonderwall though,
Yeah,
I guess.
they
But
do.
yeah, I'd have to agree with you mostly. Comfortably Numb is not overrated. I'd agree, but yeah, we know your opinions on this.
I think Comfortably Numb's are overrated, just in terms of people hailing it as the best song of or one of the best songs of all time. I don't think it's the best song of all time. I think lyrically it's there, and I think the solo's there. But apart from that, it just doesn't really appeal to me. But there was another comment there in like, and I've got it down here. As a single, yes, Comfortably Numb is overrated, but in the context of the album, it's one of the best songs of all time, which I agree with because
Yeah.
it makes sense in the album. As a single, it's one of the more, as you said earlier, it makes not a lot of Floyd songs really make sense on their own, but I feel like Comfortably Numb does as well. But like, the Wall wouldn't be the Wall without it, but then as a single, like it's not that needed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, fair. Going Nowhere is the most underrated Oasis song by Vince.
Yeah, it's up there, I reckon. Anything on the master plan, really, I feel like chronically underrated. Maybe apart from Rocking Chair, I feel like that's appropriately rated, and definitely not Head Shrinker. That's overrated at this point.
I've never listened to this album, so I can't disagree or agree.
I was
But
going to give it to you the other week, but then we were ranking. Or I was going to give it to you last episode, but then we were ranking Oasis albums. And I
yeah,
don't
too
know if
much
you were
Oasis to
including the,
handle.
didn't know if you were going to include the master plan or if you'd listen
Nah,
to
it's
it.
B
So
sides. No B sides.
it's probably their third best album, to be fair. So
Well, we might have to next episode. You could potentially give it to me. I'm not gonna
no,
suggest anything,
I'm
but
not. I'm not. I've scrapped the idea of giving you Oasis album. I'll
that's
give
the
it to
only
you.
one I haven't listened to anything else.
Yeah, well,
So,
that's not a good time to start. I'm not about to give you a B-side album. Some
yeah,
other ones that you could answer, I reckon.
hmm
Adam Hart Mother as a whole is underrated as fuck. Yes or no?
No, I feel like it's rated properly.
I think it's underrated slightly. I don't think it's definitely not overrated.
What
It,
was your Pink Floyd one? Underrated?
if
Oh, if.
um
Yeah, I guess.
it was going to be When You're In, but then I thought of if like moments before finishing the
Mm,
Pink Floyd cut. So
yeah.
um
Uh,
I think Adam Hart Mother is underrated. I don't think it's highly underrated. I think it's just slightly underrated, but I still do think it's underrated. Um,
yeah.
it's definitely not overrated, and it's bordering appropriately rated. But yeah, I'd tilt towards slightly underrated.
Yeah. There's a lot of comments here. Let's just pick a random one. Agree with the monkey's opinion 100%. Well, that's probably not an interesting one to, to read out. Do I want to know is such an obvious choice for fuck's sake, says James Not All.
Oh, well, no, I
James
think
Not
like,
All.
a lot of Arctic Monkeys fans don't rate Do I Want. I think it's great. I think the riff's great. I don't even think it's that overplayed in comparison to Wonderwall. Like,
Yeah.
Wonderwall's overplayed. Do I Want to Know is played a lot, but it's not overplayed in my opinion. I think there are definitely. I think what do you call it? Why'd you only call me when you're high? I think that's more overplayed than Do I Want to Know at this point, because people have made such a big deal about Do I Want to Know being overplayed that they've stopped playing it and started playing other things. Well, okay. I mean, to be fair, AM's probably a bit of an overplayed album, but
Yeah.
but no, I think there are definitely more overplayed songs than Do I Want to Know on AM or just the Arctic Monkeys in general.
Fair enough.
Um,
We might do a few more comments. We'll pick this one. Oasis' best song, in my opinion, is "Let's All Make Believe."
yeah, that's another underrated one. Probably it doesn't have like the not like the it doesn't have the same feeling about like a lot of other songs. Like it's an acoustic song. I'm gonna describe this
hmm
as best as I can. It's an acoustic song that you can tell is acoustic, like, and it's not like is strongly backed up. I think it's only one track of acoustics, so I don't think there's multiple tracks playing the same thing.
Yep.
Um,
What album is that off? Is that off?
it's the master
Standing
plan.
on the Shoulders.
Oh no! Oh
The
no!
Master
No!
Plan.
No! It's not off the master plan. Sorry, I stand corrected. It's a B side on Morning Glory.
Okay.
Don't know what it's a B side to, but no, yeah, it's like Wonderwall, yeah, in a way. It's got that acoustic. It's Noel singing though, so yeah, but it's the same chords as Wonderwall, I think. But
Yep.
it just feels a lot less heavy, or not heavy, even just feels a lot lighter, or I'll even use the word lacking, but I still rate it highly as a song.
Yep.
It's on the playlist, so there you go. Make of that what you will.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got a comment. Don't have to end it. Just do albums of the year from 2020 to 2029. Do you think that's plausible?
Uh. Uh.
I think it's got legs. I think we
Well.
can do that. Make that
Yeah. I
happen.
guess. I guess
We,
that's probably fair.
we should just make Flying South albums from next year to, and plan the release from next year to 2029, so we can just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
wholly
Yeah.
promote ourselves.
I think at this rate, we're probably not going to make an album by 2050. So I
Well,
might have to step up on that.
yeah. Well,
But just actually, that is interesting. Discussing our own band.
yeah.
What should our sound be? We sort of need to pick a sound.
Well, I don't
What are
know.
the,
you feel like a lot heavier, like in terms
A
of
little bit.
a lot heavier. I'm just gonna go for like the I don't know. I don't know what the sound. It's like
Oh,
it's a weird sound, but then Hamish is just
well,
gonna
the
go for
thing
like the
is,
full bloody electronic wombat sound, which is not happening. I'm telling you
yeah,
now.
no,
That's
that might be a bit of a tough one. But yeah, we're in lockdown right now.
getting
Here
getting
in
getting
our
eased tomorrow
hometown.
actually. So there you go.
Um,
Getting eased tomorrow.
who for who? What
Us.
do you mean?
We're getting out of it tomorrow at midnight.
Really?
Yeah, there you go.
This is news to me.
Well, there you go.
Hey, wait.
Podcast first.
What do you mean we're getting out of it?
We're getting it, like restrictions are being eased along with Melbourne's tomorrow night.
Oh, for vaccinated people. Not fucking vaccinated.
No,
You?
no, I'm not yet. I need
Oh,
to
no,
be.
it is only
I'm
for
eligible.
vaccinated people.
You're eligible as well. You should get
Yeah, I've
vaxxed,
booked.
people.
I've booked for vaccinations,
Good
but
boy. Good boy.
yeah, but yeah, I'm not vaccinated yet, so it doesn't affect me.
Mm.
I think there might be a few little restrictions, but yeah, if we can get together to fucking rehearse for our band, that would be beautiful. But at this rate, it's looking tough because we can't go inside each other's houses. In case you're from Britain, and you're listening to this, we're kind of fucked with these sort of lockdown restrictions, so we can't do much.
Anyway, getting off the political note because we're not about to start that.
No, I'm just saying
No.
it's literally true though. We
No,
are
yeah,
we are in
yeah,
lockdown,
well,
so it is hard to rehearse.
So the band's kind of suffering. From
Yeah,
it.
it's hard to do Discord calls.
We
rehearse.
could be a lot worse off, to be fair. So
If vaccinated kids, then you can do band rehearsals.
yeah. And then okay, I've got a closing comment, or I don't know if you wanted more. This is the most diabolical music taste I've ever seen.
Diabolical, like
Big word. On
diabolical, like
not for me, just
what is-
diabolical for my audience, I'd say.
I don't know.
Diabolic is in like crazy.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
feel like it's not crazy.
I wouldn't
I
say it's
feel
crazy.
like you
I
just.
I think
It's
I
not. I don't think it's crazy at all.
I don't think it's crazy. I think it's very sensible. I'm just a sensibly tasted music
Yeah.
consumer thing. Not really. I'm not really a consumer. I'm just average music enjoyer.
I would say you probably need to expand like your music sort of thing though
Jeez.
on your TikTok. I don't
Yeah,
mean
well,
like your taste, but
I'm
like
too scared of changing
yeah.
my image to bloody. Like, I'm not. I'm never going to include Metallica or Green Day because I hate
Yeah.
their image, and I'm too scared I'm
Yeah.
going to become like a bloody punk thing.
Yeah, punk.
Nothing wrong with punk people or like people who about that, but I'm
Other
not
punk, wow.
personally. I'm not about that image. So I'm happy on the side of TikTok I'm on. I'm happy with the fans I've got at the moment. So I mean,
Fair.
like I'm trying to. I've definitely expanded more in the last month than I have for the entire rest of what I've done. So I've started to include more versatile bands. Started to use less Oasis, which is hurting the soul a bit. But
Slipping away. Wow.
yeah. Yeah. When's the well, I know it's not Flag Crom 2022 anymore, but when's it coming back? When's the
Oh god, I was actually looking to make Gorillas content. I feel like the fan base of
Gorillaz,
Gorillas would
jeez.
probably be.
I've got a few
into
Gorillas.
that.
I've got Gorillas fans in my section, or they're mainly
Yeah.
Damon Albarn stands, but
If I make Gorillas videos on Jack Tungib, you have to shout me out, mate. To your Gorillas fans.
yeah, right.
Maybe we could collab. We should collab with. Oh yeah.
Collab. I got called out today on TikTok. I'm not going to mention because I'm not
What?
giving it any more publicity, but it was from
Oh,
somebody.
tell me after this though, right?
No, it was we know it was our bloody drummer, Wombat Stan, and then he's just
Yeah.
he's absolutely dissed Oasis, and it's
Wait, he called out you or Oasis?
he tagged me in the video because he was like, so you know that trend where there's like some like the filter with the beard?
I'm watching the video now, by the way.
Okay, right. So tell me what you think of it.
Pretty funny.
It's just
He looks weird.
don't
but,
like the
yeah.
video. We're trying to keep the comment to like ratio different.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean, why haven't you tried to ratio it?
just couldn't be asked honestly.
I don't think the Wombats v Oasis is a
It's
big
a horrible
rivalry.
comparison. I mean, okay, well, okay, what do you think?
Wait,
Do you
he's
think?
ranked. He's ranked all 13 Minecraft CDs.
Yeah,
He
that
said
was
rating, which technically isn't the right word for
no,
rating.
no, bad
Uh,
English, bad.
from best to worst.
Terrible.
So he's done best to worst, which is a terrible way to rank things.
He's put bloody Chirp at seventh. That's a crime in itself.
I
I mean,
follow him. I follow him, and I don't get any of his videos in my For You page. That's disappointing.
yeah, that's
Oh, he's rated his friends' playlists.
yeah. I'm on. Oh, I was. Yeah, he stole that bloody idea from me. What do you think he got the idea from? It was. I
Well,
would have.
yeah, it's he actually went through with it. So,
He said I was. Well, I went through with it. I just didn't upload it because it's horrible. It was a horrible video.
oh, he's ranked you at 4, 5 out of
Yeah,
10.
I thought it was.
Jeez.
I was very rough because I think the people have
He
spoken.
hasn't listened to Rourke's album, so he's ranked it last. Ugh.
I mean, I feel.
Yeah,
No offense here, but I feel like it probably would have been last anyway. I feel
I
like
haven't seen any of his videos on my For You
I
page
feel like
this week.
me at fourth is a bit of an injustice to society, really, because
Yeah.
the people have spoken. I've got 54 followers on that playlist, and then there's
Wow, 54. More followers than he'll ever get on any of his
I've
playlists.
got more followers on Spotify. I've got 49 followers on Spotify. So if you're listening, tick me over to 50, and you can I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah. Well, I think this has been going on for a while. This
Yeah, we've hit 2
this
hours.
podcast.
So
We've
on
hit
this
two-
podcast so far.
we definitely did go really in depth with those what ifs. I feel.
That was good though. That was
Yeah, I
good
know.
podcast material.
Yeah, that was good, but we did go in depth, so that
Yeah,
probably
we
what
did
pushed
take
it
it.
up. We didn't spend that long on the gorillas rankings.
No,
Yeah.
I feel like we tried to compensate with the what ifs, but no,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
have you got any other news? Anything else you want to share with the podcast before we wrap it up?
No, this one I feel it was a little bit of a shambles at times,
I reckon this was our
but I
most
think it was
solid
good.
one. I reckon this has been our best one so far.
I think my favorite was last episode. We'll see how this goes
Okay.
post production, but I guess we'll finish it there.
Okay. Thank you everybody for listening. Appreciate it as always. If you made it this far, we appreciate you. Next episode will be Monday. We're assuming if all goes to plan. So
Yeah.
yep. Okay. Other than that, oh.
Thank you for the 35 listeners and for the 22 followers. Who listen to our podcast and the others on YouTube as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you everybody for watching. See you on Monday. Peace and love.